Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and we're back to cover the final installment of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled The Beginning. So join us as we venture one last time into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Yes, Dragon, it's over. It's over. Much like, ironically enough, on Thursday night, two big comic book events happened. We had Avengers Endgame, of course, the one that everyone really is talking about. I think Gotham just kind of had this unfortunate scheduling issue of Dragon. I gotta say, this is a really, really good episode, and it's a very satisfying endpoint. Is it like a Pandora's box of awesome geek wet dream nerdgasm? Like, holy shit, I'm seeing the Ark of the Covenant and the Pulp Fiction briefcase put together? No, it's not that. But Dragon, still, as a Gotham fan, I'm very satisfied with this wrap up. I think they made some really smart choices along the way. I'm curious to hear what you think of Batman's very limited but effective screen time in this episode, because I think that, among other things, was one of the very smart choices that this episode made. And just overall, I'm very enthusiastic about it. It's kind of a smart sort of like, epilogue. It doesn't really get into any deeper, complex storytelling. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is the Batman status quo, and we've this is kind of like the dessert at the end of the long meal, Dragon. That's how I view this episode, and it's like I said, satisfying is kind of like the word of the day of this episode. It's just, it's not amazing. It's not like blow my mind, like, oh my god, that was the most amazing storytelling I've ever seen in a TV show. But man, it's satisfying. It's like a lot of things get tied up in a really nice way, and I just feel fulfilled with the show, Dragon. I feel like it was worth it for us to cover it all these years.
Yep. So of course, by the way, folks, of course, if anyone has any kind of like parting thoughts or anything they want to kind of say on the series itself for the last episode, by all means, we'll shout you out. We'll read some comments because we want to welcome you. We have Donovan Martin joining us, and we have formerly Winter Ives. You see, Winter Ives is a couple of aliases. We got Winter Ives, we got Winter Ace. I believe just now it's kind of shortened to like shared to Ace. So welcome Ace or Winter Ives or Winter Ace, whichever you like to be addressed. But let's just go with Ace for short. Welcome. But yes.
Yeah, guys, this is Dragon. I can pretty much guarantee you this is probably not going to be the last exploring Gotham. Knowing us, we're going to find some way to talk about this show further. Like, won't be for a long time, but we've done Bates Motel. We've done Talking Mrs. Bates episodes after Bates Motel wrapped up. You know what I mean? So there's always, of course, we could do a top 10 Gotham episodes. That's always on the table. I feel like that'd be an exciting thing to do at some point. But yeah, for now, folks, this is the culmination of us talking about and recapping everything. And, like Dragon said, I'd really appreciate it. And, it'd be cool for prosperity's sake if you guys could join along with us and make this kind of an interactive journey as we say goodbye to the show.
Okay, well, before I'll hit us off some interactive stuff, I want to say, so my thoughts on the episode as a whole is, vaguely, is this episode, our last episode 12, the 100th episode of Gotham, by the way. I remember I was at the start, as we were unsure if they were going to get 100 episodes, because there was rumor it was going to be, going to be 10 episodes, which is just kind of like, man, they're going to stop it at 98? Come on, really? But no, big 100. That's the last one here, and it's a special one. This episode it's a lot of fun. It's definitely an epilogue piece. That's what this definitely serves as. It's an epilogue piece, and again, as I kind of said in the last episode, again, it's kind of a bonus in that it's kind of a peek at the show that we never thought we'd get. I mean, for years, Tiki, when we were doing Exploring Gotham, I kept telling you, like, so many moments like, yeah, where they're kind of teasing up the Batman show we'll never see, and we actually got to see a peek at it. So that's something really special. We were never entitled to this, but we got it as the big 100. And it was there's always the speculative kind of mythical future of Gotham, like the show would lead to, and got like a little peek at. Not like if not a full view, but got to see the beginning of it. Hence the episode title. It's I'd be lying if I said there weren't a few letdowns along the way here. Nothing major, but there are a few letdowns, a few disappointments. But on the whole, though, and when it says on the whole, this episode is very true to the show and true to the ride of the show. And I feel while it was true, it was also kind of it dared to be a little different than a couple other than kind of the show that we've seen, but it's kind of breaching some new territories while celebrating the old. So it definitely checked a lot of the right boxes for me.
All right, cool. Any other background notes or anything before diving into the episode?
Yes, one more thing. So of course we do have some art generously provided by provided to us by Nate of Nate Productions, who was just generous to really make the last the fifth season of Exploring Gotham really pop, because we actually had some fan art this season. And for example, let me just show you what one of the I think honestly the best piece of what we have some good pieces. We have multiple pieces for our last episode, which kind of we'll reveal as we go along. But here's kind of the main piece by Nate Productions. I think it's really nice looking. I think it's one of the best things he's done for us. I think it looks really.
Yeah, that's great. That kind of just sums up the whole episode in a way. It's like it's the two goofy side villains who we've known throughout the series, kind of getting, they're kind of like hanging up their hats and settling for a more neglected role, whereas the Joker kind of takes full form in Gotham City as the clown prince of crime.
Certainly, and with this, of course, we provided a link to Nate's channel, and of course, this again, he's done some really nice work for us. He's kind of provided us with our banner image for the channel. So yeah, Nate Productions does solid work. He really does, and he also added a sentiment. He asked us on his behalf to share kind of a summation of how he feels about the show and just kind of some final words on Gotham now that it's technically over.
Yeah, go for it, Dragon.
All right, so Donovan says, bear in mind I'm quoting here, folks, but this is what he says. I'm sorry, this is what Nate has said. Yes, it has been an honor to have made artwork and to have been a part of this show's legacy, from Jerome's first laugh to Jeremiah's fall. I've been a fan of this work. I've been a fan of this work of art since day one. It has been a true honor. So, I mean, that's some noble last words. Kind of looking back on the show. I mean, the guy made that's really nice fan art. They kind of enriched our show, but also a celebration. Just kind of again, there's a lot of good fan art, a lot of good celebration. There are people there.
It kind of like makes me feel humbled that he feels like just being a part of this podcast, he's contributing to the whole. You know what I mean, Dragon? That makes me feel good. It's like, in our own small way, where this podcast is a part of the collective Gotham fan base. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's something that you and I should be proud of, having committed from day one to doing a podcast. Like, hey, Dragon, what do you, because Dragon, I remember it was kind of like a last minute thing for us. It wasn't like we weren't like entirely committed to the idea of doing Gotham from the minute it was announced or anything. I got to admit, Dragon, for me, it was kind of like in the trailers when I saw Donald Logue as Bullock. I think that's honestly what sold me. I know it kind of sounds silly, but I just like what sold me was kind of like just this buddy cop dynamic that Ben McKenzie and Donald Logue had. And I wasn't sure about Ben McKenzie yet. Of course, I was a little skeptical about the no mustache thing. But Bullock is like a secondary main character, and the show just really sold me on it. And of course, the show has a lot of other layers besides Bullock, but still, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Bullock is still one of the key ingredients that kind of sung all the way through all the seasons in magnificent ways. So, Dragon, I gotta say, I think you and I should be very proud and humbled that we were able to set our commitment to, the show produced 100 episodes and we produced 100 podcasts about said episodes. So let's give ourselves a proverbial pat on the back for that one, buddy. We've come a long way, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of crazy to think about. And you gotta keep in mind, folks, I guarantee you each and every, not to, this isn't a brag. This is just kind of like, the minutia of how a podcast generally works. Dragon, each and every one of our Gotham podcasts is easily longer than the actual episode.
Oh, way longer, yeah.
God. So, oh boy. All right.
I
It's
mean,
been a ride.
the Selena episode 2 with Selena Kyle was 2 hours.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Anyway, but you know what's funny is while we're reminiscing, one last bit of reminiscing before because this episode really is a brisk episode. It's good stuff, but it's really brisk.
It is. Yeah, you're right. I feel like it'll go by fast.
Anyway, so real quick, of course, just seeing how far we've come along. Again, I've actually met a few stars from Gotham. Look, I don't want to be like that guy's like, hey, he's name dropping again. I'm sorry, but again, it's like the last episode.
I met Dave Goals. I'm gonna hang on to that hat forever.
Yes, of course. Just I've been able. I was lucky to meet David Mazouz, who plays Bruce Wayne, and Sean Pertwee, who plays Alfred. And of course, this is like around time of season 4, just kind of like getting basically. I believe episode 1 of season 4 debuted like the week of that convention, and I was able to meet him. And the thing I'm just like, again, it just sounds all schmaltzy and silly, but again, like
here we go, folks.
Don't phrase it like.
No, I'm sorry. No, I mean, here we go in terms of like, this is a legitimately good story that you've told before on the podcast, but I think it's worth retelling, Dragon. It's a good story. Go ahead.
Well, so basically I had kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. So of course I met David Mazouz. With people I really respect, I get to meet a comic. I like to write him a nice kind of thank you letter because I really want to provide like some semblance of thanks. Sometimes it's fan art. Sometimes you draw something nice on the envelope or something. The point is that I wrote this thank you note to David Mazouz, just kind of talked up like the journey of Gotham and what he's doing, like all the great stuff, a little bit of Doppelbruce in there, throw like all the great stuff.
Oh my God, Dragon! I completely forgot about the existence of Doppelbruce until you brought it up. Wow.
And even again, this is like going into season 4. Like it was like after we're kind of in that space hanging before the debut of season 4, and of course the thing at the end of season 3 really hit me because that was like the beginning of Bruce Wayne, the ski mask vigilante Bruce, which always hit me in a very special place because of Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I really kind of went on about that in the letter. I basically explained what I did for David Mazouz because I gave him a gift along with the letter. I gave him a copy. And again, I had no idea whether he saw it or not, but I included a DVD copy of Mask of the Phantasm because again, that's the first time I saw the ski mask vigilante Bruce Wayne. Again, just seeing like, oh my God, they finally did that on the show, and I thought that was so special. And I just kind of wanted to kind of just show my gratitude for him, kind of bringing that to life, and just kind of we see the journey that kind of led to that moment where, oh my God, he's like again, it's the grand midway point of his journey, and again, having not know if it was going to go like end at 5 seasons or not. The point is like that was such a huge moment, like oh my God. And it was again to me the ending of season 3 is still one of the most beautiful endings we got. Bear in mind now season 4 also has an even better ending, but that's kind of how it keeps going. My point is I gave David Mazouz this. I met him, really nice kid, and when I basically explained, like, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but, just in case, I didn't want to take up too much time. I told him, okay, I explained in the letter, but, ski mask vigilante Bruce Wayne meant a great deal to me, and, it's in Mask of the Phantasm. I don't know if you've seen this or not, and he had not seen it. So, I'll never know, but I'm going to assume maybe at some point he's watched it, and maybe, basically the gravitas it had for me is that never in life will I have an opportunity, at least as far as I can see, never in life will I have another opportunity to kind of give the next generation of essentially Batman, the next generation of Batman / kind of Bat fan at the very least. But again, just like literally the kid who's David Mazouz, he's played Bruce Wayne. If you want to look in the grand scheme, again, played Batman. Again, of course, Bruce Wayne being Batman, young or not. Again, someone who's played Bruce Wayne like so off the page and so true to that character. Again, like Christian Bale is like kind of the main kind of point of comparison for like kind of a fully realized kind of Batman Bruce Wayne. But even looking at that, again, like the front, competing with that is David Mazouz, and like who represents that character and just kind of that everything that character is in the alter ego. That's David Mazouz, and he led you on that journey. And I thought it was kind of like, it's kind of the best thank you I could give, like from the bottom of my heart, is like the best memory, one of the best, most profound memories, and the best example of Batman on film, that's Mask of the Phantasm. So, and again, with the whole ski mask connector, like again, it's like him finding himself in that movie in those flashbacks, and Bruce Wayne and Gotham kind of going on a similar journey. So it's just kind of I kind of view it, again, it sounds all silly, but it's kind of a Bat fan passing of the torch in a way to the next generation. That's why I looked at it.
Reckon I love that story so much. I really do. And I have this whole headcanon of David and Mizzou's just like treasuring that DVD of Phantasm and just being like, okay, guys, we gotta get it exactly like this, man. We really have to hit the notes. Like this movie knows what they're talking about when it comes to young Bruce Wayne stuff.
And it's a bit of a stretch, but we do have a moment in here that does kind of have some operatic music, like kind of the opening of Mask of the Phantasm, a little bit of that Shirley Walker kind of choir in the background. Of course, we got in Batman v Superman, was always again all that's kind of pulling from kind of that Shirley Walker Phantasm score. So again, maybe in some way, I don't know. But anyway, so as point is, we've reached the we kind of reached the end. It kind of gives you some perspective again, just kind of being on the journey of all the exploring. Made mention of like, oh my god, did the Exploring Gotham podcast where we basically recap every moment of basically pretty much go super in depth. So you watched all the episodes and everything. Well, like doing like a major like, oh, check us out, just like so I've done podcasts, all that sort of stuff. Anyway,
Right.
so anyway, so the point being, so of course, again, major
Dragon,
thanks to.
I believe this is the longest show that we've actually covered in terms of episodes. Like because we covered of course we covered short shows that were relatively short lived, like Galathant and Bates Motel, and Bates Motel wasn't necessarily short lived, but like the Muppets and stuff like that. But this show was it was not only was it 5 seasons long, but most of those seasons ranged up into the 20 episodes.
I mean, I don't, if I'm looking back, I think they were all, well, with the exception of season 5, they're all 22 episodes. Again, 100 episodes of Gotham, which again is the most amount of episodes we've covered with the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, I feel like we climbed Everest here.
See, I remember even with Better Call Saul, because they did 10 episodes a season. Even if they went, they'd have to go way past like 6 seasons to even get close to those numbers. So it's.
Right.
And chances are this might be the longest show we've ever will ever cover, for all we know. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, and of course, just going to read off a comment here from Winter Ace. Here says, "Long live Gotham," with a heart next to it. And again, I echo those sentiments. Ace, yes, long live Gotham indeed. And then Donovan echoes like, "It sucks that it's gone now." And yeah. It does, but folks, again, it had an ending, man. Again, I think I pointed out in the previous episode, but of course, the rumor is the CW actually offered them, offered to pick up the show for this mythical show that we never thought we'd see. And again, they stuck to their guns. They used it as the ending. They didn't want to taint it. They had the opportunity. It sounds like. All right.
Yeah, Dragon, I think it works really
so
well.
All that said, I guess we should just dive right into it, unless you got anything else.
No, I'm good. Let's dive right into it. You start us off.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's. Okay. Well, we start things off. I mean, I guess. Let me just get something a little bit more thematic here for you. There we go. Okay, so yes, we start. We begin with where we left off last episode. Of course, last episode, the kind of the technical finale of the finale of Gotham, the show. Before we get kind of this epilogue, is Bruce Wayne. He went on the plane. We did the perfect year one reference where he's on the plane, and we did an inverse of year one. He's descending upon Gotham. Here we see him leaving Gotham, and we're kind of doing a Batman Begins here. We have Bruce Wayne kind of hopping a freighter and heading to the Himalayas, somewhere in the Himalayas.
Yeah, and I like how the just the message that he's sending Alfred is essentially like he's going to be gone for a long time, but Gotham's always going to be his home, and when his people and his loved ones need him, he will be there. He will be there for Gotham.
And this is kind of that Frank Miller year one idea of like it's always a question of when am I ready? It's like I'm not ready yet. That whole thing. He's not going to come until he's prepared. And basically, again, like we had a decent amount. Again, that was the tease of Gotham. Is that again, if he never went around the world in training, because again, there was a time in Gotham where I think you and I were kind of synonymous. Like he might not go around the globe to kind of learn all the tricks of the trade, because the show just might end with him being kind of like it's kind of a different take. Again, the
Dragon, I honestly feel now I feel dumb now for not considering a time jump, especially how I love time jumps.
Yeah, because basically I think you and I and a number of other people just assumed like any time jumps might be worked into the fabric of the show, kind of like Arrow does, but going forward instead of backwards. It's like kind of doing that way back in season 1. They didn't do that, so we kind of swooped on the rug like now they'll never do a time jump.
Right.
Anyway, so but yeah, man, it's really cool that we kind of got a show where again, like he could have been like a working Batman, would have been a flawed Batman, but he's getting to the point where like he's on his way of being kind of the Batman who's trained all around the globe. He's learned escape artistry, he's learned martial arts, he's learned maybe a little bit of magic. The point is like he's learned everything, every trick of the trade. It's going to be kind of the very well trained Batman, or that's kind of the classic from the comics. Mastery in all fields sort of Batman. So he's not coming back until he's hit that. And they kept it a little vague. They kept a little vague of where exactly he's going, because again he's going the Himalaya. He's starting in the Himalayas. Like they might just go the full begins route, just trains in the Himalayas. But I think to me, my own little headcanon, he went around to more places. I mean, that's how Batman. That's how the best of Batmans usually do. Because we see like a temple and a mountain sort of shot there, and of course let's just address it here because I don't think we're going to really address it anywhere else. So we just kind of I'm wondering how you feel about this, Tiki. We just kind of left the whole Nisa Al Ghul thing just kind of.
Oh, you know how I feel about it, Dragon. It was a big relief. Come on, you really have to wonder about it, and I'm like, yes, whatever, sweep it under the rug.
It does make me wonder if like they deleted a scene with her or something. Because again, why on earth if they weren't just going to pay that off? Just she
like why would they just kill her?
Well, again, they don't need. I don't know. It's just it just felt a little again. It's fine. It's just like okay, she got away and she stole the Penguin's little dog too. That's kind of how it went.
Well, that was the ultimate insult to injury, Dragon. That was really Nisa's, main contribution to the plot was stealing Edward the dog.
I mean, basically, the way I kind of read it, just based on what we have, is that okay? So in the future, we have like set up for like more of the Al Ghul legacy in that mythical show. We just kind of get a peek at. Like maybe in the future, that's how we get kind of more Ra's al Ghul related stories through Nisa coming at, or Talia, for all we know, that sort of thing. So she survived. That's pretty much maybe that's why they did that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so after our cold open, again, really solid cold open. And also, I love they kept his words writing letters to Alfred. That's nice. 10 years later, we get the big time jump, which of course makes Tiki foam at the mouth whenever you utter the words time jump, as long as it's not 1 year later, because as we've seen, 1 year later usually.
1 year later is no, not that one.
What's the irony? There was like Tiki, there was like a whole thing because they were just trying to piggyback off of year one. It's not just Batman; it was like DC Comics. They're doing this thing with like they have that 1 year later time jump for like a bunch of the books, and they try to make it sound special. It wasn't a terrible thing. It was just like okay, so just 1 year later, it's why of all.
It's like really, it's like we're pretty much in the same place, guys. Like there's not that much you can accomplish in the span of the year that's going to make you grow that much as a person.
Basically, they kind of use it as like a Deus Ex Machina for like certain things. We just want to skip past a couple things. Where I mean, yeah, sure, but I mean, did you have to make like a whole like title like 1 year later? Can't we just have it be 1 year later?
Right.
Focus on some other books, then come back to them and say, okay, years passed. Here's what's happened. I don't know. Anyway, so point is, 10 years later, big 10 years later, we see 10 years later, we see Commissioner. We see now Commissioner Gordon.
God, here we go.
Okay, we see. See Commissioner Gordon, by the way.
Dragon, in the immortal words of Eric Estrada from Cool Cat Saves the Kids, there he is.
Yeah, so yay, hip hip hooray. Good news, bad news. Good news, Ben McKenzie finally got his mustache.
He earned it, man. He earned it.
He did earn it, and it was. I gotta tell you, I thought he looked really good with it. Because again, here's what you do, and this is the genius of the mustache. Okay, if we're doing a 10-year time jump, how do you show that again? Ben McKenzie, again, we've seen him for 5 years, looks relatively the same. How do we make him look different, look a little older? Kind of sell effect. He's a family man now. He's a father. 10 years have passed. He's got little Barbara Lee Gordon here, and of course, that we show these. He's kind of old and wizened a little bit. Give him the mustache, give him some facial hair, or the glasses, but specifically give him the mustache. And we did. And again, it looks great. Again, and of course, we have just kind of what he was doing in season 5 at the start of this season, where Ben McKenzie was kind of the old weathered kind of, Jim Gordon from No Man's Land. Now he's just kind of the old weather, like a guy dealing with the politics with the mayor and everything for 10 years in Gotham. He's just kind of he's at the end of his ropes and he's getting ready to retire, which I thought was an ingenious idea. They borrowed a lot from Dark Knight Returns. and worked it into the beginning of things. And again, that sounds like a recipe for disaster, but I think it just went. I think it played really well. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. On the subject of the mustache, I think it works really well, but I'm a little mixed on the fact that they sort of undermine it and turn it into a joke. We'll get into that as we go through the episode, of course.
Oh, we
But yeah,
will.
in terms of the status quo, establishing Jim Gordon, setting it up where he's once again he's still having problems with Mayor James, and he might be commissioner, he might be this new family man, but he's still kind of just dealing with the same old politics. It very much feels like a new homecoming for the character.
Yeah, it is. Again, we do get a lot of. So again, we get some classic kind of Commissioner Gordon struggles here, where he's dealing with all the politics with Mayor James. Who, by the way, it's nice to see Richard Kind come back. Because remember, T, we haven't seen him since season 3. He's been gone because we did the Court of Owls thing. We haven't seen him since.
Right, yeah.
Nice to see him back. I do question how the heck he got back in the position of mayor, but again, it's like it's the epilogue.
Like maybe they had a mayor or two, and then he decided to run again.
Oh my
And they
God, you're right because we had. You're right because we had we had the Asian mayor at the end of the last one. We had Mayor, I believe it was Mayor Chen. I believe that was her name. We had her, and so that was 10 years ago. So yeah, we would have a change in mayors. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He probably just reran, and Gotham was like, you know what? I remember him from when the town wasn't crazy. Let's go with him.
So this is really cool. So in this scene, we have Gordon and Bullock, and they're sitting down with Mayor James, and Mayor James, he's asking what's going on, and we tease this up really well. So again, 10 years later, so a few weeks ago in Gotham, there's this mystery player who's been taking out gangs. He's been taking gangs out, and non-lethally so far. And of course, Bullock says the reports of growling. He reports there's kind of a growly voice. Going on here, and they're wondering if it's maybe the Penguin's getting Anna Black. Maybe he's hired like an enforcer to kind of put the fear of God into the criminal underworld from the retake things.
Mm-hmm. Likely story.
Yep, and again, I'm liking that we're making the most out of this 10-year thing. Okay, so we basically the Penguin's getting out of prison. Again, Gordon's kind of planning on resigning as commissioner, and I love that. And again, I love that. Essentially, what we're going to be doing here is that Batman is going to be the inspiring thing that keeps him on from resigning. And that's I think that's a great idea. And again, we kind of take the whole
that's kind of like the main sort of like thematic crux of the story is sort of Gordon being pulled out of retirement. It's definitely like one of those kind of stories.
Yeah, and again, this is something that again we've seen in stuff like Rises, but again, originally from Returns, where the idea was Gordon was retiring after like his stint in Gotham, and that's when kind of Batman was returning in that story. But we kind of used it here as okay, we're going full circle with our story of Gotham, where okay, way back in the beginning, Gordon was that inspiring force in Bruce Wayne's life, and now vice versa. It's nice.
Mm.
Let's see. So Mayor James wants Jim to stay on because the Wayne Tower opening is happening tonight, and it's going to be the return of Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is coming back to Gotham, which of course is going to be a symbol of hope. Bruce Wayne again returning to a crime scene where now the crime has been kind of reduced, where he can come back to it. Wayne Tower, which was destroyed during No Man's Land, all that chaos, where Jim Gordon was lauded as a hero as well. Basically, Jim Gordon is associated with hope, and Bruce Wayne's that other force of hope. So we want to get them both together. It's going to make a really nice, it's going to make a really nice photo for the newspaper. We got to make some good press, some good headlines. So we got to make sure our commissioner does not retire before that happens. So Jim Gordon stays true to his word. He reminds him, okay, look, I said I'll be here until the Wayne inaugural. After that, I'm done. So after your little press junket, that's when I'll leave.
So essentially, the crux of this dragon, in a really interesting way, like thematically, that I kind of caught on a rewatch is essentially Gordon is going to have to interact with Bruce Wayne in order to retire.
Yeah. Oh my. Yes, you're right. Yeah, that's
and Bruce Wayne makes this really hard for him to do.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's kind of an. Oh my God, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm putting this together now because I just kind of got something I wanted, but I didn't even know I got until now. Oh,
like I feel like Bruce Wayne by not, like he's actively kind of like making Gordon sort of like stay in the line of duty. You know what I mean?
You know, you know what they did? They kind of pulled a reverse of Detective 27, where again it's Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon having that conversation. All again, with the big reveal at the end of that book that, oh my God, Bruce Wayne is Batman. But again, so we kind of pulled a reverse. Okay, we're delaying that scene, but we're showing the flip side of it. But again, that scene would have been okay. That's neat. I love that. That's great.
All right, good pull,
Awesome.
good
You blew
pull.
my mind there. I love it. So, Bullock. Speaking of which, Bullock.
Dragon, you know I might be an idiot sometimes, but I pull out a gem or two every now and then.
Right. So Bullock is so Bullock's questioning like, oh yeah, so you're kind of all of this time for Bruce Wayne's return. Coincidence? I think not, says Bullock. All right, so let's see. So, oh yeah, so Bullock has this great kind of I don't know, it feels like a very noir. It feels like a very noir line. It feels like an old school line here. Bullock saying, "Hey Jim, why didn't I buy stock in
It is
Gotham?"
very noir. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I know there's a
tycoon, Jim.
This reminds me a lot of a line from the next Scott Snyder story from Super Heavy, which is a big Jim Gordon story, where in that there's a scene with Bullock where he has a line that sounds very much like this. Again, it's not the same line at all. It's just like a really like remember the old days, Jim sort of line. It's like remember the old days, Jim, where he has like a kind of a ridiculous like what if this would have happened, Jim? Like what kind of things are you going to be doing in this crazy city next sort of line. So it feels very noir-esque in that regard. I think it's what's reminding me of. But anyway, so this is Bullock said, "Why didn't I buy Gotham on the cheap after reunification? Yeah, I could have been a tycoon."
Then, of course, he says, tell the little one Uncle Harvey says hi.
Give a kiss to the little one from Uncle Harvey.
Yeah.
Again, Uncle Harv, that's cute.
Oh, my God. All right.
All right, so Jim is welcome.
Meanwhile, it's overlooking Wayne Tower.
So we see that Barbara, I'm inferring that Barbara, she's come a long way from season 1, folks.
Oh, my God. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, a long way. Like, she's no longer just kind of like, remember what Barbara's fake occupation was way back in season 1? Do you remember? It was, she was like,
God. Oh, wasn't it like a massage therapist or something like that?
Where do you get a massage therapist from? No.
I don't know. What was it?
She's not Phoebe from Friends, Tiki.
Okay, what was it?
No, I'm saying it's so ridiculous. It was even more ridiculous than the massage. Like it's that she worked art galleries. That was like just kind of she was kind of a knockoff of Vanessa. That's kind of what her whole shtick was. She was like she just hung, and that's the thing. It was so ill defined. It's like okay,
it was like they didn't even show her working. She just hung out in art galleries, basically.
Yeah. It's like it's a thing. Like she didn't even. That's it was just so ill defined. Like she hosts parties at art galleries or something. Like she's just vaguely a host, which again I guess feeds into the nightclub thing. Anyway, the point being, so Barbara's come a long way from that. Where now it seems that she's gotten into the architecture game. Somewhere Scott Snyder's ears perk up. Architecture game. But yes, and I'm sorry, just don't me that with that reference. Like, oh yes, I hope Scott's because I remember I've written so many thank you letters to Scott Snyder just telling about the last letter I wrote to him was like, oh my, Gotham, just showing how far you've come, Mr. Snyder. Look at how Gotham's literally adapted in some form or another referenced all your runs within the seasons of Gotham. How trippy is that?
Yeah, that is actually really trippy. Now that I've gotten a chance to read most of Scott Snyder's stuff. To see it kind of like, this show very much kind of like lifts and this show is the most influenced by Snyder out of all the comic book stuff for sure.
As it should be with a show called Gotham, given his like how he writes Gotham. That's the thing. Now you get it.
Oh yeah.
I got it. And that's another earmark of how far we've come, folks. I don't have to explain Scott Snyder to Tiki. He knows it now.
Yeah, I know Scott Snyder. I get it.
New York Snyder, man. All right.
But Batman should be raped in prison, Snyder.
Not that Snyder. No, screw L.A. Snyder. We're talking New York Snyder, the original. It's like original Ray's Pizza. It's like original Snyder. Darn it. Anyway, so Gordon is welcomed by daughter Barbara, which again I gotta tell you, again, it's so refreshing to see again a side of Jim Gordon we've never seen before. We get to see the kind of the classic. And this is a thing we rarely see too, because usually Barbara's all grown up when we see her in the Batman comics. We get to see kind of like young Barbara interacting with her father.
Yeah, for sure. It's not baby Barbara. It's not teenage Barbara. It's kind of like an in between that we don't usually see with this character.
Yeah, it's a thing we always kind of reference or harken back to, like maybe again, like in Zero, you get like a snippet of with her playing with the
Uh-huh.
dog, like something like that. That's you know, it's about it, but you get to see kind of like a really sweet interaction. Jim Gordon is kind of father of the year material, really nice. You know, where Big Barbara and this Barbara Senior, you know, she's in the architecture game, and you know, she's got red hair now because you know they just want to get the red hair in there for a
Yeah,
Barbara.
just because why not? Because we're in the end game now, Dragon. We can do whatever the hell we want.
She does roughly have like a different hairstyle each season, so you know, I guess it makes sense. In this case, like each era of Gotham. I think it looks good on her. I don't know. I think it looks good. So then we
Yeah,
have you know,
fine.
so people are taking, you know, we have the run gave people taking shots at the mustache, and she's saying, "I'm sure Bruce is coming back to Gotham," and you know, I can't wait to tell him that he no longer has the biggest building in Gotham, given like the building that she's kind of constructing. So she says he probably won't even recognize you with that caterpillar on your top lip.
Mhm. Yeah. I like, and I gotta say, I like the idea that these characters, they know and respect Bruce Wayne, and they remember working with him and everything, and they kind of treat him as an equal, even though he could be viewed as just a kid given his age. You know what I mean? I really like that kind of like that sense of like Bruce Wayne is almost like a legend in the city in his own right before the Batman stuff even kicks off. Did you get that vibe, Dragon?
You definitely get a vibe of history because, like, oh, I knew him when he was a kid versus, like, you know, where we're at in Gotham. Some people respect him more than other people are just using it as a claim to fame, like the Riddler later on, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, really neat the way they handle that.
Yeah. Again, we have so much history built in now, we're kind of reveling in it. So that's kind of what we get here in kind of our epilogue.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, we have this. I gotta tell you again, it's with the seeing Jim interact with his daughter, but beyond that, I love that we have kind of again. I think Jim and Barbara Senior are in a really good place right now. They have like a shared custody arrangement. Everything they seem really well adjusted. Like you know, she says goodbye to you, and she loves her daughter, and again, they seem to have like a really good working. Again, it's kind of the classic thing we have where again, obviously after the events of year one, Jim and Barbara they got a divorce in the comics. Therefore, there's always kind of like a shared custody thing going on there, and we kind of see it kind of enacted here. And again, they're in a good place. Like, you rarely see this sort of stuff, like how the divorce necessarily, well, in this case, how the how the complicated kind of relationship actually worked out, and it's pretty solid here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Of course, they have the ice. I gotta tell you, just if I need a snapshot like that again of like a rare glimpse of Gordon, I rarely see. It's like this ice cream moment. It's like, oh my god, it's so cute. Just he's walking away with hers is like getting ice cream. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's really cute.
It's almost like he's going behind Barbara's back on it. Like you get the sense that Barbara's like the health nut parent. Yeah, ice cream. My dad's the cool parent.
Guess your mom's the crazy one who tried to kill Dad's girlfriend. Dad's wife.
Right, Auntie Lee.
Yep, Auntie Lee. Oh god, there are stories there. I want to see the Gordon Christmas party. That's what I want to see. I
Oh
want
man.
to see.
Oh
That's the next. That's the next one we got to pitch.
man.
Okay, no. In all seriousness.
Okay, so meanwhile, in Arkham Asylum.
Yes. Meanwhile, back in Arkham, so we have the Riddler. Uh, so the idea is that again, so the idea is Enigma and Penguin have been caught relatively shortly after No Man's Land was wrapped up. Basically, as reunification was happening, within roughly 6 months, they were captured. Of course, Penguin sent to Blackgate, Enigma sent to Arkham, which is how that's usually how it goes. Because Penguin, when done, most of the time when done right, Penguin does not go to Arkham. Of course, we've seen him go to Arkham here, but again, he did a lot of crazy things in the show, like kill a man for a sandwich, so it kind of made sense here. Point being, Riddler, he's gloating over knowing Bruce Wayne as he kind of sees like a newspaper saying, Bruce Wayne coming back now. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, we saved the city together. But I think it kind of channels a little bit of Batman Forever. Did you get that sense at all? A little bit of like the whole obsession with Bruce Wayne, a little?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit more tastefully done, but
Well, it is. I'm just saying maybe like a little.
what's interesting though is it's almost kind of like a foreshadow of the ultimate kind of like obsession with Bruce Wayne that we get at the towards the climax of the episode. You know what I mean? It's definitely like a build towards that.
Sure, and yeah, I like that. I guess the idea is like Penguin associates his regrets and his anger towards No Man's Land towards Jim Gordon. I think Riddler basically kind of I guess in more of a status level, he's kind of associating that with Bruce Wayne, the guy who's getting all you. Penguin's literally has a grudge against Gordon, where Enigma has like a grudge against like how Gotham's directing their praise and again their worship. Because of course that was a big thing with him in the last episode. Riddler's all about Gotham's going to kneel before the smartest man in Gotham. He's all about the ego trip. The ego's kind of blowing out of copious proportions, and that's kind of where again like everyone's like lauding Bruce Wayne's new tower, and that's what Riddler's really kind of like he's really jealous of. So we have kind of the insane jealousy and the rivalry kind of building there with Bruce Wayne, but of course we'll all be directed towards a man in a costume. But that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so we reveal. Edward Nygma is not the only familiar face in Arkham Asylum, and I ain't talking about the Mad Hatter, folks.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, so we see a very, very, very comatose and vegetable-looking Jeremiah Velasca.
And again, man, they're pulling Dark Knight Returns, and I love it. I love that. Again, this is something that I was hoping for, and we actually got it here. Like, this is straight out of Dark Knight Returns, where, Joker's just kind of this comatose, like, kind of drooling mental patient, again, because there's the meaning in his life has been taken out of the equation. And there's the great thing. It's the same, again, they're using the 10-year period, like 10 years between, Batman went missing for 10 years in Dark Knight Returns. So, again, it's like another 10-year missing period. It's like, yeah, it's linking up really good.
Sure.
So we have just kind of our drooling Jeremiah Velasco looks really worse for wear, by the way. We finally get a good look at like what he looked like underneath the bandages from where we left him off in the comatose state. And what do you think of the makeup?
Oh man, well, first of all, unfortunately, Dragon, I did have the image leaked to me. Unfortunately, I was on social media, but I gotta say, in action, it looks really damn good. It's it's very creepy. I feel like they own it. It's kind of like it's melding a lot of things together. It's like it's old man Joker. It's definitely got a Ledger vibe to it, but by the same point, it's its own thing, man. I really like it.
Right. Let me demonstrate just how far he's come here, thanks to submission by again Nate Productions, folks. Nate VA on YouTube, I believe, at this time. I'm sorry. Right. Here we go. Look how far. Look the compare and contrast on this, folks. Again, this is a.
Greg, that's what I'm saying. It's like, remember when Jeremiah first showed up and we were like, hey, this is like the dapper, like prim and proper version of the Joker. You know what I mean?
Again, kind of like this is more of like the Tom King looking Joker, where like nice suits. And
now it's like as this illustration kind of greatly lays out, it's like we've got this kind of like more unhinged than we've like I don't want to say than we've ever seen the Joker before, but certainly in live action it's one of the more bombastic takes on a visual design of a Joker.
Yeah, I think Gotham accomplished what they set out to do with the Joker, and that we have like that idea that again the Joker's more again about, which I know it's about to happen here. He's an idea sort of thing, and a reflective symbol of Batman.
An idea.
Yep, that's the one. No, but in all seriousness, though, I love that. Again, we always had the idea that
Joker earns that. All right, Suicide Squad is just like, oh, I have 5 minutes of screen time, but I'm just going to claim that I'm an idea.
Again, like the only
claim it to the audience. This is like, yeah, the Joker literally like is an idea. Like Enigma's kind of like expositing that. It's like he's more than just a vegetable in a chair. He's a legend, and you better damn well respect him.
As he stabs him in the leg with a paintbrush.
And when you disrespect him, do it properly.
So, but again, it's in the grand scheme where we've gone with kind of our proto Joker here. Again, we've had just the track it here in the last time here. Let's see. So way back when we had that comedian who we thought Fish Moody's comedian, go, hey, maybe it's a little proto Joker setup.
Oh no! Right.
We had that. We had
Jesus, Dragon.
We had the red.
So far.
We had the Red Hoods. Of course, we had the Red Hood idea going. That was good. Let's see. Beyond that, of course, we had Jerome Valeska. We had Jerome Valeska, of course, basically as Jerome
Valeska got pretty close to classic Joker.
That's the thing. Again, of course, Cameron Monaghan he's an excellent performer. I thought he was I think he proved his merit with this character. Again, he performed. He was kind of gifted, like so many iterations, so many like different ways he could play this character. Because we had, if you really want to track the chronology here, folks, you have a Jerome Valeska Mark I alive.
Oh
That,
no.
of course, kind of as Nate said earlier on, it kind of came to life with that laugh at the end of the episode with the circus connections and everything. And of course, we have him when he, very Mark Hamill-esque in that first iteration. And of course, he comes back to life, and a little bit of Ledger's kind of like thrown in the fray there. Of course, with like kind of the Scott Snyder removed face. You remove this face and kind of do a little bit of Ledger, a little bit of his own thing there. And of course, we get to then of course we eventually kill him off, and then we get his twin brother. Again, folks, Gotham did have twin subplots and doppelgangers and clones, yet somehow it either passed or it worked. And we get to Jeremiah Valeska, the even crazier twin brother, who again the more dapper, crazier version, who we kind of then dip in the chemical bath, and we get kind of our scarred up, kind of Dark Knight Returns-ian version here.
Right.
And I mean, here's the thing. Here's the only nitpick I have with it, and I think it's a nitpick a lot of people would agree with, is that I think this version looks really good. And again, I think it's something that you have to live with, and it's Gotham doing their own thing. And I respect that. But I mean, in all honesty, I think the Joker looks so good here. It's like, if only he had better hair, right? Did the hair bother you at all?
Not really for me, Dragon. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing, like, as an Elseworlds thing, it works. I'm just saying, like, again, a lot of people are like, I think a lot of people were hoping for kind of more of a class. Basically, again, like we have the previous version.
That's the thing, Dragon. It's like I feel like that's the reason why I sort of almost latched onto it, is that it's not classic like green Joker hair. You know what I mean? It's very greasy, very unkempt. It's baldy, and I feel like it's unique. Like,
yeah, I remember.
It's kind of like a nice reinvention of what the Joker should look like, and not just like in the stupid, like, oh, I'm going to have grills on my teeth and literally have a smiley face on my hand. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, sure. Comparatively, it's a lot better, and the big thing to laud it for is that it does have logic behind the looks. That's the thing I really got to give it points for. I mean, you're right that again, it fitting into the whole Elseworlds take of what Gotham is as a concept, that it's befitting of that. So, and of course, if anyone, I mean, some people are like saying like, oh, everything was great, but the Joker just looked really off. And that's why I'm of two minds about it, because I prefer a Joker with more hair, sure, but by the same token, we got that with the last again with the one on the right here. So if I needed one like that, we already got that there. And if we weren't happy with that, then you have the previous version with Jerome. So again, you kind of got your wishes there. So it's fun. We got our cake. We ate it too.
I've read interviews, Dragon, where that's kind of like what they were going for with the multiple Jeromes. And to begin with, is of course, we've talked about this whole idea before, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again. The whole idea that Jerome and Jeremiah are not so much the true Joker, but more so an idea that kind of weaves its way throughout the urban mythology of Gotham, and really becomes sort of this, it really becomes, dare I say, like this viral thing almost, you know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, remember that crazy clown guy that attacked us? Wasn't that crazy? And over time, Dragon, forgive me if I'm kind of going on about this, but over time, people will just kind of come to view it as kind of like this urban legend, this urban myth, that this dark kind of backstory that kind of defines the city in a way. And so it's really interesting. It's really interesting the way they play everything with them.
Again, like the idea is like in the future, as Batman's current mythology goes on, like people reflect on like who the heck is the Joker. Basically, what we see now is what's going to more likely develop. And again, they could always go the Grant Morrison route, which is kind of what they've done in the grand scheme. But the Grant Morrison route is Joker reinvents. Joker has like a new look or a new reinvention every time you see him, which we kind of got for the most part. Again, it's maybe not every time, but it's like we have like every arc, we have like a different look on the Joker or something. Yeah. And in that regards, again, it's very, and we also have like a lot of Morrison when he's wearing the all white get up with the straight razors earlier in the season. So the point is like we've always kind of reinvented the look in one way or another, whether it's the clothes or the visual look. So again, the idea is like he'll probably reinvent himself a couple more times in the show that we'll never see, and maybe that'll end up being whatever you, the audience member, dictates is like your perfect version of the Joker, and they kind of kept it that regard. And looking at it that way, again, we get into that kind of Snyder idea that, like Jerome Valeska or whichever permutation you want to go towards. But again, that can be kind of seen as like the pale man of Gotham idea. Like the idea is like there was this figure that may or may not have been the Joker way back when, that we associate. Maybe that's him. Maybe there was like a direct answer to who this guy is. Maybe there's like a whole conspiracy about who this guy, or like a whole like sordid events that we kind of saw. But by the same token, you know what? That might not be the end Joker. It's going to be a guy who keeps losing his identity. And that's kind of what we do with this Joker. He's kind of a guy who's like losing those pieces of himself. Again, he's developed fully into the idea, into the symbol, which will reflect what we get with Batman by the end of this thing. So that's so yeah, I agree with you for. All right.
Okay. So alrighty, let's
Okay, so Riddler, they all get on lockdown because the Riddler stabbed another patient, and like the drool thing too, man. The drool is just messed up.
Oh, I know. It's just it's very horrendous. Like I said, it's like kind of like the design. It's just kind of like, oh man, they really go a long way, and that's what I like about it, Dragon. That's what I like about it. It's very much like it's unlike what we've seen from the Joker. It's scary in its own way, but it's definitely unique. All right. Anyways, I'm sorry, Dragon. I kind of lost my place in the notes here.
No, it's fine. So basically, the Riddler, he stabbed him. The place goes in lockdown. A mysterious nurse carts our essentially our Joker away. I think we just call him pretty much Joker now. Because again, still vaguely proto, but come on, it's Joker.
I mean, they never call him the Joker, Dragon. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's a reason for that. They kind of.
Oh, I know there is. We don't have to get into it.
Well, I mean, we rarely brought it up during the whole show. We should probably get to it when we get to that scene, though. So maybe we should talk.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, the point being, nurse carts the Joker away here, and the place goes into lockdown. The Riddler is kidnapped in the midst of this. Like some guards put a bag over his head, and they're kidnapping him. We're going to find out. We're going to check in with the Riddler a little later. Let's see. Meanwhile, back to. Get a last look at this mustache, folks.
Oh God, yeah, it was short-lived. It was like Steve Rogers' beard in the Avengers movies, Dragon.
Oh, don't take look. I get what you're going for there, but don't compare Steve Rogers' beard to this mustache, because this mustache is more important than the Steve Rogers beard.
Okay, I know, but you know what I'm going for.
I know you're going for. But here's what I'm talking about. There are a few things that do bug me. And the Joker's hair is like a minor thing where it's like, again, it fits in with what they're doing and like what I've liked more hair. Sure, but this is something that actually legitimately kind of bothers me. Like, really?
Dragon, here's the thing. It's like I could have lived with the mustache jokes if they would have committed to the mustache.
Yeah, like I'm fine with the mustache jokes. Take your pot shots at it. Fine. Right. I don't care. Okay, because it's awesome. And he pulls it up.
That they had him shave almost kind of like legitimizes the mustache jokes. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're right. The mustache does look stupid. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive. You're the real Gordon fan in the room. So, are you personally like offended by this or what?
I am bothered by it a great deal.
Okay,
yeah, I'm bothered by it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So it really bothers me that, again, we spent all this time, we've teased up the mustache or the lack thereof. Mainly in season 4, we teased Gordon with the mustache, and Gordon was skeptical of the idea. And we finally gave it to him, and he's a family man. It was the perfect show, visually showed the time has passed. Again, Bullock didn't change a smidge, but I'll tell you, it's Bullock. Bullock shouldn't change. Point being, in the scene we have Lee putting Barbara to bed, which it's kind of it's a cute little scene there. She has like a little bed in the house when she visits. That's kind of nice. Anyway, so he puts Barbara to bed, and Gordon says, "Oh, you shaved." He says, "I was trying something new, didn't work," and that's kind of a middle.
That line directly. That bothered me, Dragon. I can't imagine how much that pissed you off.
So to me, that's a middle finger. I don't know if it was just
exactly.
I've seen Ben McKenzie do so many interviews, and sometimes they've made a thing about the whole mustache on Gordon, and to me, it's a thing. I never gotten a full beat on how he feels about it. All he knows is he's kind of said he wants to save the mustache for the very end. I always got a sense that he didn't want the mustache. I don't know if it was ever McKenzie's choice or that. Obviously, I think they kind of settled. Okay, we're just gonna, obviously it's a younger Gordon. We got to show that he's younger, and we'll just kind of strip away like the mustache and the glasses, obviously. And most likely by the end, as you and I think everyone in the world imagine, we'll see him with the mustache by the end, which we have now. And just the fact that again, it's like just such a. It's just like really, we just got rid of it because of that. Because someone called it a caterpillar on his face. Really?
Yeah, exactly. Barbara of all people.
We have a bit where he says, "Lee, you liked it, right? Totally," and just kind of saying like dowdy way, like, "Come on." Mustache was, and the point being, I thought it looked really. Anyway, so the point is, as a Gordon fan, I'm a little bothered because again, we have like all the great 1000 moment at the very end, and it would have been so much better with the mustache.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we got so far and we actually did it, but you got rid of it so. It's not the fact that you got rid of it; it's more the fact that you got rid of it so fast in the episode. And we don't bring it back at all. That's the thing. I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Personally, it bothers me. That to me, that's a big missed opportunity. That's a huge. I can't even call it nitpick because again, something that we waited 4 seasons for, and we got that, then they got rid of it. It's like, what if we put Superman in the suit, then we got rid of it right after that in Smallville? You know, like what if we? I don't know. He wasn't even in the suit in Smallville. That's the annoying thing. Anyway, so
Right.
okay. Anyway, point being, so he's having a conversation. Okay, so anyway, mustache rant aside. So again, that's my mustache rant here. It's been building. So again, we got it, but again, it's a good news, bad news thing with the mustache. Moving past it because I could go all day on that thing. So she's wondering, like, she's wondering how Bruce has changed over these years, and Jim is like, she's asking Jim if he has any second thoughts about his retirement. We have a really great line that's true to Jim Gordon. Again, a scene that would be plus by a mustache, but a good scene all the same. Where Jim says, I hoped Gotham would outgrow me. He hoped Gotham would outgrow him, but it hasn't. Which again is kind of the age old idea of again, Jim Gordon lives for a day when he where he can retire and outlive his usefulness, and the idea of Gotham again each season gets progressively more crime-ridden and worse in Gotham, which necessitates something more, something else, and that's what Gordon's kind of ruminating on right now. Like Gotham needs something else, and it's not that he's just too tired for it. It's the fact that he was hoping that things would have gotten better, and they've gotten a little better, but again they're on the path of getting a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we're kind of setting the stage here that no one is stepping forward to kind of take Jim's place as kind of the hero of Gotham, especially since Bruce Wayne kind of left and he's been really dodgy in coming back. Like this, there's no telling what the future is going to hold. Is what he's saying right now. And she's suggesting, well, if you step down, then maybe you should step down so someone else can step up. And then she's kind of ruminating again. She just poked fun at the lack of mustache, which again, I look my own headcanons like maybe in the future he'll regrow the mustache as a symbol of like he's because she jokes like Jim Gordon, clean shaven man of leisure. I like to think that's thematically them putting their foot in the door of like what in the future we could bring the mustache back. Again, the future show will never see it, unfortunately though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. Again, that's the only thematic thing I'll attach to the mustache is that maybe it'll represent that Jim Gordon's work is not done. That he's again like going to. I don't know. It's so. Moving on. Okay, so moving on past that. So they're wondering why what Bruce will think of Selina because she's become quite the girl around town. This is a really great transition point for her.
Yep.
What do we see?
Okay, hold on. Well, we see Selina, right?
Yeah, we see we finally get some Catwoman action going on.
Yeah, and Dragon, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same actress, right? She really matured.
Well, no, Tiki is not the same actress.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, good, because I was about to say, like, yeah, it doesn't feel like the same actress at all.
Yeah, but it's a dead ringer though. It's really they really well cast
Well,
her. It's basically
it feels like 10 years. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying, like, if it wasn't the same actress, then I could believe. If it was the same actress, I could believe it.
Sure. So we see her in action. She's evading lasers. She's in the mid heist. She's using her claws to steal the diamond. Classic stuff. And of course, I'll remind you, Tiggy, stealing a diamond was the very first Catwoman story. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's on a boat, but we'll forgive that. The point is, she's stealing a diamond. That's classic Catwoman, anyway. So as she's doing this, she gets the sense that she's being watched, and we hear kind of the whooshing of a cape in the background. Is it a cape?
Yep. Oh yeah. All right.
Yes. So after that, let's see. Harper, we're at the GCPD. Harper gives Bullock this. Of course, basically the Riddler's Enigma has escaped from Arkham. They're trying to figure out what happened. So we get a lead with the guard who was basically the guard who kidnapped Enigma. So we're finding out. Okay, so Bullock has a lead to go to this guard's house and we can question him and figure out what's going on. What's the end game going? What's the plan here? So Bullock goes to the guard's apartment and what happens?
Sorry. I'm kind of shit. Oh yeah, right. Some shit goes down, Dragon. Some crazy shit goes down. Holy crap!
You better believe it.
I don't mean to put it so bluntly. I was looking through my notes here. Okay, so basically what happens is this cop barges in on Bullock, right?
Well, again, an Arkham guard. So Bullock goes into the Arkham guard's apartment, and the guy's waiting for him. So,
and oh god, I'm sorry. I don't have the exact details on this written down. You have to kind of go through it here.
Basically, the guard you kind of cold cocks Bullock on the back of the head with the gun. He basically hits him on the back of the head, and Bullock's down, and he's frantically handing him a phone. This is a great scene. He hands him, answer the phone. You have to, as he's holding him by gunpoint, tell him to answer the phone. He answers the phone, and basically, we see Bullock says, "What?" And basically, see Bullock is horrified. We don't know what's on the other end of that phone here. And we see the guard. Basically, what's freaked the guard out so much is what's on that phone. He says, "You know what you have to do, right?"
Just like he's so desperate, he's just like, you know what you have to do, and then he just flat out shoots himself. It's like, oh man, like Bullock just got himself into some deep trouble here, man.
And there's a really great visual clue here. Again, they don't spell it out for you, but again, it makes sense and it tracks really well that he shoots himself in the head, and we see the blood spatter on this photo of the guard's family. Mm-hmm. So we're showing that he's shooting himself to protect his family, which of course will be kind of a foreshadow to the third act.
Sure.
So Bullock is in interrogation because essentially, he went to somebody to interrogate him, and the guy died of a gunshot. And of course, Bullock's been instructed here. So Bullock is in interrogation, and essentially he's taking responsibility for shooting an unarmed man in his home, which never looks good. And kind of Gordon's doing the interrogation here. And he knows that Bullock's trying to protect. He's trying to protect someone. Little does Jim know that it's him. He's trying to protect somebody, and he says he's leaving out information. Bullock's just taking the rap for it. He says, Jim, I did it. It was me. He's just instantly taking the rap for it, and obviously Gordon knows that there's something else going on here. And so you want this to be your story. You realize if this is your story, Bullock, you're going to land in Blackgate. And of course, basically, if season 2 taught us anything, cops does not do well in Blackgate.
Or anything, it's like cops are not welcome at Blackgate. But look, you're not going to have a good time there. Trust me, you're not going to get to have your lunches. It's like it's not going to be a good time, Bullock. You might as well just kind of tell me exactly what's going on here, buddy.
No Danishes and chocolate milkshakes for you, buddy boy. Exactly. You go to Blackgate. Exactly. So Jim tells, this is a really nice bit.
Endgame jokes I want to make, but I can't.
Yep. Maybe some involving tacos, but we can't do that here.
No, specifically something involving beer.
Oh, yes, right, of course. Anyway, so let's see. So we have a nice bit of kind of Jim as the commissioner, because of course it's a big deal when the commissioner comes down to the GCPD, which of course now he is. So he comes down there, and they have this history with him. Jim has a note where he addresses the GCPD, saying, and there's a really great moment, just showing how far he's come here, is commanding the respect to sound like 100% Jim Gordon, one iota here, where he says, he tells the GCPD, anyone who doesn't believe Bullock's innocence can leave now.
Yeah, and that's a great kind of sign of solidarity there. Like nobody takes a stand, nobody leaves, everyone stays. That's a good arc for Bullock. That's a satisfying. I don't want to say conclusion, but in terms of like the GCPD and their feelings for Bullock, they've never really wavered on the guy. You know what I mean? Bullock has been one of the constants of this institution since the beginning of the show.
Again, just seeing how far Jim's come along and gaining the GCPD's respect and everything. They're all on the same page. It's nice. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Or speaking of which, we thought we might have gotten the last glimpse of Alvarez in the last episode. Wrong. We got the older Alvarez.
Like talks more in this episode than he does in almost all the other episodes. Dragon.
Well, we see older Alvarez. Older Alvarez, he has the bow tie and glasses
Older
now.
Alvarez.
Yeah, older Alvarez. He's one of these. He looks so dapper now.
Oh God.
I wonder. Here's the thing. I'm assuming because I think he got a medal in the last episode, in the previous episode. That makes me think that he got Bullock. I think everyone's got a bump in promotion. I think Bullock's probably captain, where Alvarez might be the lieutenant now. It might be the. I think he got elevated to Bullock's position. I don't know.
That makes sense.
All right, let's see. All right, so the point is Penguin Enigma. He says that Penguin Enigma are the prime suspects. Essentially, what Alvarez is saying here. So we then cut to Enigma awakening, and he finds well basically we cut to Enigma awakening. Kind of alone in a room here, and he's like the bag is off his head, and he's just kind of exploring the room here, and he finds a note, seemingly from Oswald.
Yeah, it's basically just like, hey, buddy, I rescued you. There's some instructions. Basically, do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. You do you.
This is all you need. Follow the
Yeah.
instructions. And of course, we reveal basically a crate full of like C4, a lot of C4. And folks, one brick of C4 is going to be enough. Everything else, that's just. Well,
That's what I'm saying, Regan. It did feel a little exaggerated there.
But again, there's kind of like a whole like there's a plot point with like how much C4 there is right here. So again, there's definitely going to be definitely going to be a payoff.
I mean, we don't even. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyways.
So Oswald, his basically says, "Oh, Oswald, what are you planning?" And of course,
as we planning, Oswald,
we transition from that to the big penguin reveal. And this is a really great reveal here. We have this great suit up.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic. This reminds me of like a Scorsese character reveal or something.
Of course, he was putting on the gloves and everything. And then now, what's great about the monocle, I hope you caught this. So the monocle, in the 10 years, he's replaced his eye. He's most likely gotten an eye replacement. Now, it could be a glass eye, but I'm thinking he actually got like being certain. I think it's a callback to way back in season 1 with the whole doll maker thing. Remember?
Yeah, for sure.
Where Dollmacher, because with Fish Mooney, she did that horrific thing. It was to me still the scariest thing I've seen in Gotham is when she removed her eye with a spoon and stepped on it. But when she did that,
yeah, I forget about that moment because it was so long ago. But you're right, I
keep remembering that because then I saw that 2.5 Men last episode, which made me think it was in I was in like a fever dream that I stayed up too late one night.
Oh God!
I think I've heard rumors of this.
Wait a minute! Did that actually happen on Gotham, or was I just kind of like too tired and imagined something that didn't happen?
That's the thing. Like I've always heard about people saying, if you stay up too long, you're going to start to hallucinate. I've never put any stock into it. Then that followed by the weird 2.5 Men finale happened. Because I never even watched it. I just watched the finale because it was going to be buzzworthy and everything. It's like, oh my God! And it's like I think I've stayed up. I think that, oh my God, the rumors were true. It'll happen. Oh God, because there's like terrible CG with Charlie Sheen. Oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah.
Anyway, but no, it's all real, folks. Anyway, my point is, like, Fish Mooney, when she got her eye fixed, it was like she had the mismatched eyes, the blue eye and the green eye. And Penguin has the same thing. I think it's an homage to Fish Mooney. Because behind the monocle is this blue eye opposed to his like green eye or greenish eye as he puts the monocle on the magnified. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good pull.
And of course, I love the top hat. I love like the collapsible top hat and silhouette.
Oh yeah, Dragon. I mean, like at this point, he is classic Penguin. I mean, that's the great thing about this. It's like we've spent 5 years kind of like developing these characters into who they are, and so with another 10-year time jump on top of that, it's like they've really grown into who they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and he's even put on a little bit of weight, and he's wearing the purple jacket.
Yeah, he's put on a little bit of weight. He's he's walking all stockly, just like the Penguin gut does. He's got a little bit of a waddle going on.
And Tiki, again, just to show you they went the extra mile and they committed to dark 60s Batman here. Again, it's kind of Batman Returns meets Batman 66. Penguin, he's wearing the purple. He never needed to wear the purple. Just, because, Penguin, I've seen God knows how many Penguins were just wearing the black suit. But, they went purple. We went full, 60s Batman. I mean, that's commitment right there. That's a great payoff. And again, what I love about this shot, and I guess this plays a little bit of the Scorsese-ness here too. I love visually he walks out again. He's basically being released from Blackgate, collecting his his possessions and everything. Hence the whole suit up montage, and he's leaving and basically surrounded by press. And what the best bit about all of this is that Penguin walks into a sea of reporters holding umbrellas. It's a perfect shot right there. It's great. One of those perfect Penguin shots you could have.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
But,
you.
he's being accosted by reporters, and there's a great Batman Returns reference here where the reporter's like, "Mr. Cobblepot, what are you going to do now you've been released? I'm going to leave flowers at my mother's grave." Which, of course, in Batman Returns was the first thing the Penguin did, and of course, surrounded by the press and everything. But it was more insincere when he did it there, or at least possibly insincere. But here is a lot more direct. Like, of course, we saw Mrs. Cobblepot, so now, of course, we. So, anyways, of course, then he's asked, like, what about, are you going to seek revenge against Jim Gordon? And of course, the Penguin just kind of stops in his tracks here. He turns around and says, the best revenge I can take on Jim Gordon is helping the city that I love.
Yeah, interesting.
Yep. All right, so let's see. Serving the city I love. So he goes in. He spots that basically in the earlier scene, Alvarez, we point out the Penguin will be a prime suspect. Jim puts a few officers to tail the Penguin. So Penguin spots the officers that are tailing him, and he does this really clever. Again, Penguin being clever, man. This harkens back all the way back to season 1. Those clever Penguin moments when he worked his way up the underworld ladder, where he spots him. And he says he talks to one of the young reporters. Says, how would you young man, how would you like an exclusive? And he says, yeah, sure. And he gets in the limo. And what happens?
He gets in the limo, and then
classic Robin Lord Taylor delivery moments.
Oh yeah, he's just like, give me your jacket and your, like, I'm sorry, Dragon, what exactly you demand?
Your hat and
hat. Now!
Oh god, it's classic. Again, they're celebrating the show, and again, they're giving us some classic Penguin visually, and they're staying true to their guns, man.
Oh yeah, big time.
All right, so then we're at a crime scene here where we see we see the gloves of a Batman going on here. We see kind of we see some armored gloves kind of going over a crime scene. Again, classic Batman here. He's just on the scene, he's looking at the blueprints for the clock tower and everything, and just kind of piecing the scene together. He's on there before the cops are, and Jim and Harper arrive.
Such a cool scene, Dragon. This is one of my favorite scenes in the episode because it just kind of like illustrates that the dynamic that Batman is going to have with the cops. It's like we have that kind of like that the stealthiness of Batman, you know what I mean? Kind of like the whole, it's sort of like a relationship with the cop from the distance, but it's there nonetheless. I thought it was really well handled.
Yep, and this is how it goes, especially in those early years. Again, they're on the same side, but again, Batman, he's going to have to work the scene before they get there, so again, they can be on the same page and everything. Just again, we had a little bit of Zero Year in there too. Remember, he gets on the scene of the Dr. Death case when the course are saying, "Why is Batman appearing in all these crime scenes?" Where, of course, was there to help save the day. So they were kind of doing some detective work.
Exactly.
So we have a Jim and Harper on the scene. Again, you know me, Tiki. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Like, oh my god! Again, this thing we've teased up, like cops being surrounded by like a masked guy in a cape, which we have with Azrael way back and.
Azrael.
So finally get kind of a proper payoff to this, where they're on the scene. They find the blueprints. They find the dead bodies, and they're kind of putting some stuff together here. But of course, there's like Jim Gordon's going around because they hear a commotion going on there, and they're trying to find out in the scene. They split up, and Gordon he's surrounded by darkness. I know you're out there. Show yourself. It's like, oh god, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Year one moment like this here again. Like they're not quite on the same side yet, but they're getting there. Oh geez. So again, they find these Southside gang members dead, and of course Jim, he's just surrounded by there, and we hear a voice in the background here. We hear the voice, and it's David Mazouz just pitched down, like they're futzing with the voice a little bit here. So we have in darkness we hear him say, "I'm not your enemy," and he disappears. And of course we have this it's so well shot. And again, they're going over the bodies of the Southside players, and And they find basically the guard had connections to the south side. So that's basically the idea is like, some reformed Arkham guards are probably like they worked their way into Arkham, and that's how they're tracking them, by the way. So that's why they're at this location. Point is, as they're examining the bodies before they do anything, a smoke bomb is dropped, and we hear the voice say, "Don't touch the bodies." Smoke bombs dropped, and we see the silhouette of a Batman in all this smoke and everything jump out of run through a window. Gordon goes to examine, to see where the body landed. Of course, gone. Bat exit, the first official bat exit. Yes,
one, man, in the books, Dragon. We're there, officially in the game, my friend.
Yes.
Oh god.
And Tika, this is the moments I'm living for. We got a moment here.
I hear you. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I love the look on Gordon. This is the things we're living for. The looks on Gordon's face in reaction to this. Like, yes, it's so on point now. We're finally here. Gordon's response, like, what the heck did I just see again? Yes. All right, so then we reveal again, really clever here, and this is like what I live for in the Batman books here, like these crime scene moments where it's like Batman and Gordon kind of on the scene, or vice versa, Batman having an influence on the crime scene that Gordon is kind of picking up on. Where Harper reveals the bodies were rigged with C4, they're rigged to blow, and that Batman was saving them by telling them not to touch the bodies. Really clever, really nice. And of course, they're speculating that Harper puts out that I think we're hunting says, could it be this mystery guy's on our side? And Gordon's kind of, again, as a great detective here, saying, well, at the very least, he's hunting the same person. So you think he's on our side? Maybe. He's not quite certain yet. It's a maybe.
Yeah, I got it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yep. We then learn that the mayor has gone missing, and the Penguin has eluded his tail, looking like maybe the Penguin's involved. Maybe the Penguin is absconded with the mayor or something. So there's also missing C4. So crates of C4 have gone missing, and basically what they've kind of figured out here is that there was. All right. So I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. So the missing C4 was established earlier on the mayor scene. The mayor told him to get on what about the case of this government warehouse was raided, and there was like a lot of missing military surplus, which included all these missing crates of C4, which kind of found its way to the gangs here. So that's what's happened here. That's why especially they're here. So the point is, like, Gordon's now making the connection. Okay, so the gangs are related to the Arkham Guard, are also related to the government warehouse robbery with all the C4, which almost blew us up, which is not good.
All right.
So Jim very smartly deduces, okay, with all that C4, what's their target going to be? Well, they're going to aim for the biggest target in Gotham right now, which of course is the new Wayne Tower.
Makes sense. Checks out logically.
So he's calling to double the security, and he needs to see Bruce Wayne and Alfred Pennyworth.
And Dragon, what do you think about this whole? I mean, I know I already touched on it with the idea that Batman is kind of like working from afar to make sure that Gordon doesn't retire. But what do you think of just in general the choice that we never really see like full shots of Batman in this special, besides maybe the last shot of the series?
Well, I'll tell you, Tiki, again, way back from day one in the speculative days, like when a Gotham show was announced, when I was like one of many people who thought we were going to get Gotham Central, Tiki, this fits into what the Gotham Central version of this show would have been. All this teasing up of Batman. We're okay, so it'd be a show where we see little to no Batman, where we'd have these flourishes where, okay, Batman is enacting the story, but we're not quite seeing him. Maybe we'll be lucky if we get a glimpse by the end of the season, sort of deal. And we're kind of here, so it's kind of wish fulfillment for me. And again, it has an even better story purpose of the fact that, okay, this is the last build up to it. Would have been great to see him, sure, but again, if you really want to earn it, you really want to build it up, you really want to kind of show it. Again, this fits into what I can't really ask for more than what we got here, but it would have been neat to see more. But again, I'm perfectly fine with what we got. I'll say this much though. I do wish we saw like a little bit more of a silhouette in scenes, though, because we did get a great silhouette when he's crashing through the window. I just feel in some scenes where we're reacting to him. I wish maybe we saw like a little bit of bat ears poking out, a little bit more cape action. I don't know, but it was great.
Mm. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, what I like about it is that it just kind of like it got the feel of Batman. It got the mystique of Batman down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really captured the whole. Like almost like, I don't want to say the horror movie element of Batman, but you know what I mean about that, like the suspenseful, like you don't want to be trapped in a room with this guy quality of him.
Again, it's like something like the harking back to some stuff Donovan's saying in the comments. You're getting a little bit of like he's gonna make a joke about Christian Bale. Was that you? And
Oh
what
God.
just to piggyback off of that, off of the sentiment, is like you know what is a little bit of like in the first Batman Begins, we did tease up Batman, seeing it from the scared criminal's point of view, like during those scenes, and that's kind of what we're doing here. We're seeing those glimpses of Batman. Just and earlier on, he's looking at the blueprints. Batman is kind of the guiding hand for the GCPD. Again, he's kind of the unseen savior, the unseen kind of guiding force to help kind of save the day. And beyond that, he's kind of like the kind of again striking fear into the hearts of criminals, which we have in a really great moment later on, which is like to be cuts to the core of who Batman is, and I loved it.
Mhm.
And I'm feeling the choice too, just kind of obscuring Batman, kind of building to like kind of again like basically going the sparing route with Batman, which again seems to be a smart and warranted choice.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of like what the Smallville closing wanted to do, but kind of failed at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's the thing, like that should
Where they also kind of like subtly hinted it and build up to the last shot. But this one actually like builds an episode around it.
Here's the difference. Smallville, like they had Clark in action as Superman, but we kept him from a difference, which just feels like okay, what's the point? Because it's not just like Batman is a character who can work in the shadows like that. Again, as I mentioned with Gotham Central, like there's like whole book series that are dedicated to like a little to no Batman you can work with for a story. You can do that. Even with like the Joker movie we're getting, you could do a little to no Batman. It'll work. Superman is not the same case. Superman he's stopping a plane from crashing. We need to see Superman do that. You
Yeah.
can be like a little. You can do the red blur a little bit. But you got to remember, Smallville did the red blur for like a couple seasons, so that gets old. You can't just do that when you have your big. You can't just CG him into the. We can't CG him into the suit. We got to see him in action.
Well, I mean, especially with Batman, it's like I feel like with Batman, unless he's specifically wearing like some sort of like robotic armor or something, there's no reason why he should ever be CG.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like basically, if you CG, the only reason you should CG Batman is like to help they can do what they do with like it's like a cape maneuverability thing when you shoot. Sometimes you'd CG the cape. Like that's the most CG you should do, and that's it. That's still like a maybe because you want a practical cape as much as you can get.
Oh.
Anyway, so yes, the only other way you should do CG is like if you want to do the moving eyes thing. That'd be next level Batman stuff. We could do like a way of doing like what we have with Deadpool or Spider-Man, where you have like the moving eyes, like the white slits for the eyes. That whole thing. Anyway, so we have Jim. Jim gets in the car. Jim gets in his car, and there's an unpleasant surprise waiting for him. It's the Penguin holding him at gunpoint.
Yeah, we gotta wrap up this plot point, Dragon. I think it's of course you and I throughout this series have talked back and forth about the this kind of dynamic, this kind of give and take, the Penguin genuinely wanting to be Jim's friend through most of the series and everything like that. And it's ultimately a marriage of convenience is how I would describe these guys.
And again, as I was kind of saying, it's like in the way in Batman Begins, we have Bruce Wayne kind of going from father figure to father figure. In the history of Gotham, we had Gordon going from a few Batman figures. And early on in the series, Penguin was kind of that Batman figure, the guy who went to for a favor if he needed it, but obviously came at a great personal cost to him, and vice versa. So again, it was definitely again, of course, now we're at the age in the series where okay, now we actually have the Batman figure, and we're seeing that dynamic begin to play out. So we're kind of closing the old loop here. But again, we have all the history between. We do the ultimate full circle thing with him, where Penguin holds Jim at gunpoint. Hello, old friend, and Tiki. Again, we referenced this in like the last episode. So again, we had this. So we have an ending to this, but then we just do it even better here. We go truly full circle with the idea in the most literal, awesome sense possible.
Mm-hmm.
Penguin takes Gordon to the docks, the very same docks, these darn docks, these symbolic thematic docks in Gotham, which are always representative, like, you've outstayed your welcome in Gotham, the city is
Bookends, Dragon. Bookends.
Wonderfully so. And of course, Penguin's like, this is where our story is over, old friend. And and Jim is trying to talk his way out of it, but then he realizes, like, basically, Jim in his last
Wait a minute, Oswald, you're an idiot for like. Don't you even remember like what happened? I'm just gonna run out to the pier, and you're gonna try shooting me, but I'm gonna jump to the water. Duh.
Thankfully, there's a little bit more stakes applied to it here than just kind of saying it outright. But yes, it's essentially that's the conversation they should be having. But no, we have this great thing where basically Penguin he's really we have this great line that says, don't you wish you had done it when Don Falcone ordered you to shoot me here? Don't you wish you had done it now?" And Jim warns him that people will know that you did this. And he says, and basically Penguin's thinking means like, yeah, they'll know that I shot you. I don't care. Who cares?
Right. It's
But
he's
no.
so past crime and law at this point. He's just kind of such a rogue.
And what Jim's really referring to is he's just trying to, okay, fine, if you kill me, that's fine. Just don't blow up Wayne Tower. If you don't hurt all the innocent people, I know you broke Enigma out, and you're planning to blow up Wayne Tower. Don't do it. And of course, Penguin's at a loss here. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And basically, and Jim's seeing there's this great one where Jim is like seeing like, you really don't, do you? You're not.
And I feel like that's a good payoff for their dynamic and their relationship all these years is that they have gotten to know each other. And one of the trademarks of getting to know each other, getting to know someone through a long period of time, Dragon, is when that person is lying to you and when they're telling the truth. Just instinctually, you feel it.
Absolutely, and we have this bit here where again we see the hurt on the Penguin here. It says like, you and I stood shoulder to shoulder to save Gotham, and 6 months later you arrested me. You locked me up like an animal.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that again, like in episode 4, was like a sense of community and a sense of like that friendship and that history they had with each other. And Penguin was expecting the pardon, and obviously Jim Gordon would never go for that sort of thing. We got to see the end result of that here, where again Penguin feels deeply betrayed by that, by what he viewed. Again, it's circling back all the way to the very beginning. He always felt they had a friendship, and Gordon betrayed that, even though Gordon has never said they had a friendship. I mean, deep down, like Gordon has like, yeah, he's reflective of Gotham, and I tolerate him, but I mean, on some level, it's like hello Oswald, it's like that sort of
stuff. Right.
Hello, it's like hello old friend, hello Oswald.
All right, Oswald. It's like the relative on Thanksgiving that you don't want to see, but then by the end of the meal, you're like, you know what? You'd be a pain in the ass if I had to put up with you on a regular basis, but just for this one meal, you're all right. You're all right.
I'm just going to hit upon this now. I feel kind of silly for just hitting upon this now, but again, the dynamic he has with the Penguin, again, is sort of like is the failed Batman dynamic, is sort of the, is sort of the, again, it's the whole, Batman just saying hello, Jim, or the age-old kind of Batman Gordon rooftop dynamic, and of course the reverse of it, like it's like kind of the ageless, the tired dynamic, like, oh god, I'm just so sick and tired dealing with the Penguin. But yes, hello, Penguin. So it's the dynamic with the bad history between them. That's kind of what was against kind of the anti-Batman Gordon dynamic we have with these two in a way. So of course we have Penguin just like in his last words like, "This begins and ends with you and me. Goodbye, Jim." And then, of course, Ben says, you were stupid for bringing me out here. It was a mistake to bring me out here. Don't say anything, Jim. Bring me to this pier. And his response is, what?
Well, I mean, he just, Gordon just kind of turns around, jumps in the river, and...
a short memory, Oswald, and he runs and he jumps in.
Right, you've got a short memory, yeah.
And of course, this Penguin just shooting the crap out of the water, no avail. Jim is in Penguin shoes from the very beginning. It's it's full. Again, Jim
now going to wash up on shore and kill a man for a sandwich, Dragon. Are we going to get that kind of bookend?
Here's the thing, Tig. I kid you not. James Jr. was in the exact same position as this.
Oh no! Oh god! Fucking Jr.
Where essentially he kind of went over into the water and he disappeared. Knowing James Jr. killing a man for a sandwich, I would not put it past him.
Oh wow! Okay.
Point being, again, it's this wonderfully full circle. The fact that again, Gordon did kind of there was a reckoning aside from the whole course of the series where he would have to dive in the water himself. It's almost like, oh boy, there's a reference I can make to a certain movie right now with fan service and referencing, but I'm not. Anyway.
Dragon, how long is it going to be before we can make in-game references? I want to set the barometer on that.
Well, I mean, I honestly, I'd say Spider-Man: Homecoming. I think when that comes out, Spider-Man: Far From Home. When Far From Home comes out, I think it's going to be fair game.
Yeah, fair point. All right.
Like before, or after when the movie, like probably after the movie comes out, that's when we can probably make the end game references because they have to address the status quo and everything. So. Yeah.
Yeah, right. All
Either
right.
that or the Disney Plus shows, one of those two. The point is
I
like
mean,
within.
like it's one of those things where it's like most everyone who cares about Endgame has probably already seen it over opening weekend, but we're just being safe here.
Sure. Basically, I think at some point, like probably in a certain amount of time, we probably go through everything but the ending of the film. So that's probably where we're going to progressively get to more and
Yeah,
more of that.
yeah.
Anyway, of course, by when Spider-Man comes out, then we can probably that's probably going to be the safe spot to spoil everything. Anyway, getting back on point here. So we have a model of Gotham City, of course, like a little reference to the very beginning of Court of Owls, where Bruce Wayne has the Wayne Gala, and he has like he's talking about the future of Gotham. The whole Gotham is opening of Court of Owls. We see the proper model, man. We finally did it. The ultimate Snyder reference. This model, Bruce Wayne holding a gala about the future of Gotham. That's what this is. It's full force.
Yeah, it's coming full circle, Dragon. Everything's coming together just like you want it to.
Then we reveal Alfred, of course, kind of the aged Alfred with a
I
cane
love
now.
the aged Alfred. He's just kind of like, my condolences, Master Bruce couldn't be here tonight. He's much more soft spoken than we last saw him. I think a little less bravado in his step.
I gotta tell you, I like that Sean Pertwee, what he's doing here with kind of this last look at Alfred, is kind of a middle ground between the Alfred he was doing and a bit of Michael Goff. It's like, again, it's like his whiter hair now. A little
I
bit
could
like
see
Michael.
that. Yeah, and it's like a nice transitional point into the familiar role there.
You got to remember, Michael Goff.
Interesting.
Michael Goff's of all the Alfreds, very specifically, Michael Goff was all about the excuses for Batman. He was all about they had like the whole like dirty limerick gag in Batman Returns where Bruce and Selina are coming up with excuses for each other, and Alfred's the poor middleman has to come up with the excuses. That's kind of what we're doing here. So Alfred, he's so we see Selina, and of course, like this is Bruce's new Gotham. I like the old one, which makes sense for Selina. Of course, she liked the old one better. Because one, she's clinging to the past of Bruce Wayne, but also the fact, the more crime-ridden aspect of Gotham. So, Alfred is making an excuse for Bruce's lateness. It's kind of a runner, and that's kind of put into play here. And Selina knows that he's been basically Selina came here all dolled up to tell Bruce to stop spying on her because, of course, like, oh boy, she's been spied on, but not technically by Bruce. Anyway, so Selina's really peeved about where we left off with her in the last episode. Selina 10 years ago, of course, she's gonna. It was kind of the basically she had to wait 10 years for the Friends finale. Essentially, that's kind of where we're at.
Oh no, Dragon! Oh god.
Where Bruce actually did get on the plane.
Yeah, Bruce did get on the plane. I mean, he got off a plane eventually, but at the end of the day, he didn't get off the plane when she wanted him to get off the plane.
The funny thing is, of course, Friends went on for 10 years, so maybe if you watched Friends, you would have had like a moment like,
aware that Friends went on for 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. Friends going on for 10 years. Maybe she just should have sat down and watched Friends. Like, oh man, that plane thing would have hit her even more. Maybe that's why she's like, okay, I'm sorry, making a ridiculous Friends reference anyway. I found out a really interesting Friends fact recently. I'm going to share with you later, Tiki, but not here.
Okay.
Anyway, so the point is she's mad about Bruce leaving her again. He wrote a note, of course, but still the fact that Bruce left her and she feels very betrayed by that because Bruce is like one of the big connections she had in her life, and Bruce did it to protect her, and more on that later. So Alfred points out again. I love how Alfred points out really slyly. He says, "You're awfully fixated on Bruce. You came all this way, all dolled up, to tell him to stay away, didn't you?"
Uh-huh.
It was with that Pertwee charm, though. I'm not doing any justice there. Anyway. So, she said, Alfred's response is, you should tell him this yourself. So Selina, she's just kind of mingling at the party, and she spies Nigma in the crowd. And she kind of had a little reunion going on here with Barbara. It's kind of Barbara and Selina kind of teaming up yet again.
Yeah.
Well, Barbara has that cutesy line, oh man, when Bruce sees you, he's going to know what he missed for 10 years.
Oh, God. He's going to regret that he left.
Exactly, that's the one. Yeah. So we see. So let's talk about Riddler's. Let's talk about Riddler's design because we finally got him in the question. We already had like a really decent Riddler. I'm going to quote.
Honestly, Dragon, if the green suit was all we ever got, I would have been totally fine with that.
Yes. Let me try to display a little bit here. There we go.
Okay.
So I just want to pull some comments here. One, Donovan Martin says, Bruce is now a peeping Tom because he's spying on Selina. Well, he's not 100% wrong, but she was committing a crime, though. So, I don't know, peeping Tom or kind of night watch. I don't know. Anyway, Winter Ace says, I have to say, Riddler was amazing this episode, as always. Says in parentheses. Gotta love him. I'm gonna miss him so much. But
Mm.
yes, Enigma was cool. And what I love about the coat, though, I love that we do like a little. It's the subtle flourishes in design, the stuff we haven't seen. I rarely, if ever, seen this with the Riddler. Tiki. We have a Riddler with like the elongated coat. It has like kind of a waistcoat. Well, not a waistcoat. He has like the like kind of more of like a kind of duster esque kind of Riddler jacket that looks nice. I've never seen a. Usually, it's like the fastidious suit, you know. But no, he's got kind of a big quote, big coat on, and he has like. I love that the question marks are real within themselves. Did you get this at all? The fact they're not straightforward question marks. The fact they're kind of like it's kind of like a circular pattern, of like the curve of the question mark.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It's almost kind of like the question marks are sort of just the pattern that he uses in a way,
Yeah, that's the thing.
and
It's a
not
pattern.
like yeah, and not so much just kind of like designed like definitive, like oh, there's a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, it's like a visual riddle in figuring out the question marks on the jacket.
Right,
Kind of like
right.
it's very befitting, and of course he has like the question mark pin, and I like the green. He has like the green sunglasses too. So I like the green kind of tinted glasses. The Riddler's looking good, I guess is the one.
Oh God,
So Riddler looks really solid.
he does.
So
He does.
the Riddler comes bearing snacks to comes bearing high society snacks to Mayor James, who we reveal Enigma has kidnapped Mayor James, and he's put a bomb vest on him.
Mhm.
And of course, the funny thing that Barbara kind of crashes the party here, and basically Riddler's waiting for Bruce Wayne to reappear and kind of give his big speech, so he can kind of crash the party and kind of give him a riddle and basically show Gotham how smart he is, and basically a riddle that will risk blowing up the place and the mayor within it. So Barbara comes in there and says, "Hiya, Ed." She says, it's just it's a big old reunion going on here. And Enigma's like, "Oh, Barbara Keene, you're a legend.
Right, right.
You were amazing. I'm still amazing, baby. I'm still amazing." That's a good line for Barbara.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
So we have this line here where again Enigma's asking what's happened to her after all these years, and of course like he hasn't changed at all, and his response is like, you don't always have a choice to change. I'm the Riddler, and Gotham will remember that. So again, I love that as the Riddler's motivation. Again, this whole show is about how Gotham has created these characters, and vice versa. We're at the vice versa part now. We're seeing their impact on the legacy of the city, and Riddler of all characters wants to make a name for himself. He's going to have these identity issues in the past seasons, which he's finally reconciled. He is like fully accepting of who he is,
Mhm.
and now he's all about like he wants everyone to know who he is, and not just like the name Riddler. He wants to know, kind of again the zero year worship the name of the Riddler, make everyone smarter for knowing the name Riddler, and in doing that, I think I love the fact that he has no choice but to be the Riddler in his existence. Again, he's compelled in a way that Bruce is compelled to become Batman to an extent. So he had kind of a little bit of a parallel going on there as well. And the fact that I love that Riddler, he has to, she's calling him out on the fact that like you're gonna blow up you're gonna blow up this ding dong. Didn't you already do that? Didn't you already try to do that? It's a callback.
Yeah, that's great. That's totally like a fourth wall break right there. It's like we've earned it at that point. You know what I mean?
And for the Uber Gotham fans who are keeping track, and for those who just may have forgotten, a little rusty on, I'll remind you. So, the last time we saw Mayor James was what he's referring to at the end of it was the Court of Owls thing, where Riddler was trying to gain the attention of the Court of Owls, so he was like threatening their flunky, the mayor, with a bomb collar and the GCPD. So that's what that
Oh,
was.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And that got him like
the dragon. I remember.
exactly. So that's of course like that's the plan here is basically he's going to instead of getting the Court of Owl's attention, it's to just kind of like make a name for himself in Gotham. And of course, Bruce Wayne's lateness again. Bruce Wayne being late is actually doing a lot of good in Gotham, But again, this seriously was with the plot point like Bruce Wayne not appearing again. This is feeding into I guess what the show's really going for. I think the show is going for. Is going for a really 89 look at their Batman. Think about it. The 89 look at Batman was a Bruce Wayne who it's a kind of a blink and you miss it bit way back in 89. But Bruce Wayne he kept being late for all his personal appearances. Bruce Wayne never showed up at public events, and he was like you go to Wayne Manor and says, "Are you Bruce Wayne?" Nope, no idea where he is. That sort of stuff. And I think that's the Bruce Wayne they're kind of suggesting that we're gonna get in the history of Gotham.
A very aloof, kind of like maybe like a Howard Hughes-esque Bruce Wayne in a way.
Exactly. So, like, again, Bruce's lateness is committing to the idea he blamed himself for all the terrible stuff that befell Gotham with, Ra's al Ghul and every, Galavan, the Court of Owls, all of it. So, and vice versa. It's. I'm sorry. In response to that, it's like, again, he's doubling down on Batman and kind of scaling back as
I'm,
much as he can.
I'm sorry for Azrael. That storyline was so terrible.
Exactly. So, Selina, she knocks out. She
I'm
knocks
sorry
out.
for the Peter Petrelli stuff, Gotham.
That wasn't Bruce's fault.
Oh, I know. Well, neither was Azrael, to be fair.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Azrael was like his own. Yeah, Azrael was Hugo Strange's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay. Point being, so the point being, like, again, Bruce is like doubling. He's making good on the whole. Like, Batman's gonna be Batman's gonna be the hero of Gotham, not Bruce Wayne. That's the important thing to note there. Anyway, so
Yeah,
Selina,
all the symbol of the character, which is a very important, of course, a very big touchstone of who Batman is. Batman's bigger than just one person. It's as any Batman fan worth his salt would know.
and again, that's kind of what Batman's effect is being with Bruce Wayne gone. People are kind of stepping up to be their own Batman here because Selina again.
And just kind of going off on a side tangent here with the whole, with Spideyverse, into the Spider-Verse, nailing the whole, a superhero is so much more than one person. Trying, God damn it, I want an animated Batman Beyond movie so badly, so badly.
Well, I heard that was in the works, so I mean,
I know. I want it. I want it. Anyways.
Okay, so Selina again, our villain, our kind of our old school villains are kind of now stepping up to the plate now. Again, of course, being redeemed within that 10-year period. Again, Bruce Wayne being taken out of the equation has done some good for Gotham. Of course, something else going to come in to help salvage things. But Selina, she knocks out the Riddler. Sorry, Ed, not tonight. Barbara. Jim enters, and then earlier on we had Lee and we glazed over this, but real quick. So like Lee and Lucius, they were just kind of chit chatting about where Jim is, and just kind of we points like, hey, it's
kind of like hanging out in this episode just to be there. He doesn't really contribute much, but it's like, hey, Lucius is there too.
Yeah, basically we need him for the scene that comes a little bit later.
Right,
need him for a couple scenes later, so we just kind of like throw him like, hey, it's Lucius.
Lucius.
Like, hey, yeah, you stole my joke, but yes.
Or in the words of the girl from the Dark Knight Rises screening, you'll catch this if you watch all the season of the podcast. Lucius.
Dude, when I say, well, I'm thinking like Dashiell Parr, like Dashiell Robert Parr.
Oh yeah, Lucius.
That's what I keep thinking of Lucius. But
I hear you.
Okay, so anyway, so Jim enters and he evacuates the place as the mayor runs out in a bomb vest. Just Gordon, he put a bomb on me again. He kidnapped me again. It's funny. Of course, like Barbara saying, "Well, calm down. He's taken care of now. Like, don't chill out." So we have this great moment. We have a really quintessential Riddler. I think this, Tiki, it's going to sound really strange because we've gotten a lot of great stuff from Corey Michael Smith over the years. But I got to tell you, this moment here feels so quintessential Riddler to me. It's like one of those like little moments, like, oh my god, this speaks to who this character is. It cuts deep. Where Jim reveals that no, it wasn't the Penguin, and we have this moment from the Riddler. It just says what. And he just says what, and of course he's being carted away. So like, unhand me. He wants to know what's going on. To me, that's Tiki. In my humble opinion, that's what I grew up with the Riddler. That's the Riddler's Reform episode of Batman the Animated Series. Those who've seen
because it's like essentially the Riddler is just like he's been outplayed at this point. Like he's the pawn in this whole scheme, and he's just like, oh no, like that's unacceptable. That's he has to be the smartest guy in the room, and not being the smartest guy in the room is almost kind of like an existential crisis for this character.
I mean, that's the thing. Like Riddler's like the put together intellectual, the egotist in the room. But again, when he's outplayed, when something's like outsmarting him, or something's like he's been outplayed in some variety, that's him. That's that character, Tiki. That's my guy right there. That's everything I think of when I think of the Riddler. Is that moment that he brought to life in the last episode? That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little moment though. It's just like a what, and like unhand me. Like that's the Riddler.
Right.
So Jim and the gang again. It's kind of a reunion piece, and the idea's like they're all trapped in here because of the bomb thing. So they're all just like it's kind of a reunion of old friends under duress of a bomb because they find all the rest of the C4. He's asking where's the rest of the C4, and that's all he gave me. And of course, then we reveal the whole Penguin thing. So so they find the rest of the C4 under the model of Gotham, which is not good. Again, how appropriate though. It's under the model of Gotham.
It's very appropriate, of course, with this show being Gotham and all.
Yep. So then we have this really great zoom out shot because we're on the model, and then we zoom out from the model again. The whole Gotham parallel there. It's like, okay, we're in the city, and basically what's happening here. What's really great about this, as we're zooming out, we're showing that basically Gordon's talking about what the fallout's going to be. Basically, it's going to be the domino effect that we saw in No Man's Land, where basically if Wayne Tower goes, it's going to happen just like it did last episode, where it'll take out a few blocks. Like it'll have a domino effect.
Yeah, right, and that's kind of a cool callback because, of course, the domino effect in No Man's Land was used for positive effect, but in this territory, where of course, Gotham is very much rebuilt at this point, you don't want dominoes of buildings falling over. You just don't want that in New Society, Dragon.
You really don't. So they have to defuse it. The bomb is under the clock tower, which again is like again we saw the clue for this with the blueprints, all paying off. Really, again, they're hitting the visual marks here this episode. Let's see. Riddler. Sorry, I was trying to. Oh, right. So while this is going on, the Riddler is sprung by a cop or just one of Penguin's men disguised as a cop. I'm not sure. Someone disguised. It's either a corrupt cop or someone. I like to think the GCP is warded out a lot of the corruption, so I don't. That's why I think it might just be a guy dressed up like a cop. Not sure. The point is,
Yeah, that's one of the few nitpicks I had with this episode was that I was a little bit unclear about that. But again, it's just kind of like at this point, it's kind of like we don't care. We don't have time to explain every little minutia of the plot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So the point is, the Riddler is being sprung by somebody, by a cop or of some variety. So let's see, Jim and Lee. They basically the bomb has a gyroscopic. Basically, it's kind of a gyroscopic bomb, which means like that's kind of the trigger mechanism. Is a gyroscope. Means movement is key, and that you have to hold it a specific way if you're going to cut the wires. Which means Jim has to hold the bomb. Jim and Lucius are like holding the bomb after they remove the clock tower piece. And Lee, who has the hands of has doctor hands, as she calls
it. Dragon, I don't know why, but that moment was kind of like funny and quirky for Lee for me.
Well, that's them reminding you.
I have doctor hands.
Well, that's them reminding you in the last episode that remember, folks, she's a doctor. We've linked it up here. Dr.
Leslie Tompkins.
Yep, and of course, like Doctor Strange is in the corner sipping his tea, saying,
Detective Mercedes Knight.
Detective Mercedes Knight.
Right. Random pull, but I'll get with it.
Okay, point being, we have this, we have this bit where, I was imagining like the Doctor Strange in the corner sipping some tea or something, just saying, "I have doctor hands too. You don't see me bragging about."
Oh no! Oh god!
Isn't that right, Wong? I don't brag about my doctor hands, do I? He says, no, Stephen, no. Anyway.
Oh, that's perfect, Dragon. That's a perfect pull. That's a great Family Guy cutaway gag.
Okay, anyway, so in all seriousness,
Family Guy cutaway Dragon, and I loved it. Oh god. Anyways.
Okay. Anyway, so the point is, they defuse the bomb. We have like this green wire tension here, where basically Lee's cutting the green wire.
Funny, like Lee's she's got like two green wires. It's like a big like tension filled. Like which green wires is Lee gonna cut? Which one? She cuts one. The timer starts going down rapidly. Other wire.
Yeah, we do get, again, it's like harkening back to the old procedure.
It's kind of funny because just like logically, it's like, just do one, and then if that one doesn't work, do the other one. It's not necessarily a life or death situation here.
It is, but however, it does get diffused at the last second. They have 1 second on the clock because
That's true.
I do love the frantic. I just love the comedy and like just Gordon. And,
do the wire,
other one. Okay, so then Jim puts the clue together that this clock tower, it's an architecture thing, man. Where it's the old clock tower, because the original clock tower was blown up by Jeremiah Valeska. And he's kind of putting 2 and 2 together here. Again, the season 4 callback. Where okay, wait a minute, we know who our guys. We know who's pulling the strings here. We know who's like. So the idea is that Jeremiah Valeska, Jeremiah Valeska, in his catatonic state, he's actually been faking. He's been pulling the strings here, where he's actually, he sprung the Riddler. He sprung the Riddler, making him think it was the Penguin, someone he trusted, so he could again get Bruce Wayne's attention by blowing up Wayne Tower. That's the plan. So that's the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So Yeah, of course. Anyway, Jim gets wind that Bullock's Mayor James ordered that Bullock be moved to Blackgate immediately. So Jim's running in the parking garage, and he runs the Bullock, and he says, "Wait, stop! It's him, isn't it?" He says, "Don't say his name. Don't you say his name." He says, "It's Jeremiah Valesky." And of course, Bullock's panicking. He really, and again,
Yeah, Bullock is just like, you don't know what you did. Is he wearing a wire? Check if he's wearing a wire. For God's sake, Jim, you just doomed us all.
So basically, Bullock's escort is going for his gun, about to shoot Jim and Bullock. Likely, then Bullock knocks him out to save Jim. And he says, "Check him for a wire." Again, this is a great bit here. Check him for a wire. Check him for a wire. And we reveal it. "Oh no, he's Mike, Jim. He's Mike. You don't know what he'll do. You don't know what he'll do."
Oh God.
But seriously, again, this brings back, again, this is kind of putting Bullock, and again, we put Bullock back in a season 1 position where he's the educated cop, where Gordon isn't. Where again, it's a case of, that's probably why they did this. They wanted to kind of celebrate. Oh yeah, it's kind of Bullock knowing how Gotham works. In this case, again, we can't quite do that, but it's Bullock knowing something that Jim doesn't. That's going to definitely relate to kind of a big threat to Jim Gordon, and about the new era that Gotham's entering into. More terrifying, psychotic era with characters like Joker here. So we have a very Kill Bill moment here. So we see we have like an homage to Kill Bill. We'll have like an orderly and a patient negotiating price for abusing the comatose patients. And then Echo, we reveal Echo was the nurse, which is clever. Again, like someone working in Arkham Asylum, like Harley Quinn, like Harleen Quinzel years down the line. She was disguised as kind of a nurse who basically slits the guy's throats and kills him. And says, "Our cover's blown skis, boss." And of course he laughs and he comes to life and like, yes, if we can't, oh boy, it's like the whole Batman, darling. It's kind of his moment.
Sure.
Okay. Meanwhile, Penguin and Enigma, they have their little reunion because we reveal that the Penguin kind of saved Enigma's bacon, and they're reunited, and they're old friends, and they're having a grand old time. It's again the chemistry these two guys have together. So it's nice seeing that yet again while they're fully formed, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of what this series has been building to, for sure.
Yep, and this is a pleasant reunion. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm helping a friend, and oh yes, I see you've gotten a little thick in the middle, though, haven't you?
Right.
So then, of course, Tiki. I love this moment so much because it's something I've seen like an animation, I've seen in comics, and it's a classic It's such a classic Batman move. This is what he does sometimes, and I love it. It's that where as they're just having this the palsy thing, where they're up to no good. Someone lands on the car with this giant dent in the roof of the car, in the roof of the limo, and a cape, black cape is like covering the windshield, so the car crashes, and it's a classic Batman move. Where he lands on the car, he covers the windshield so the car wrecks, and then of course he usually pulls the driver out of the window or something. But they're getting out of the car, and then we reveal again he probably grappled away. We do this thing where Riddler and the Penguin, they get out of the car all frantically, and they look up, and we don't see what they're looking at, but they're screaming their heads off as
This
menacing,
is great.
as this menacing black figure, unseen to us, is descending upon them. And Tiki, what I love, this is what Batman is at his core here. He's honoring the mission. He's honoring the vow, striking fear into the hearts of the superstitious and cowardly.
Exactly. And I feel like working with Riddler and Penguin specifically, using those two as the example of like the striking fear into the hearts, like that works so well because, as I already said throughout the earlier in the podcast, Dragon, Riddler and Penguin, they have been our arcs. They have been our villain arcs. We have followed them from the very get-go. Like we remember Penguin as like that nerdy kind of like little brother figure from season 1 to Jim Gordon. It's like both these guys have come such a long way, and to have them be intimidated so swiftly by Batman when Batman comes on the scene, it just goes to show the gravitas of Batman and how successful this Batman is at the striking fear into the hearts element of the job.
Absolutely.
All right.
So of course we're gonna see what happened to those guys, those two chuckleheads. But we build to that with a really lovely scene between Alfred and Lucius Fox. Again, this is another classic scene here where Alfred and Lucius, they're on a crime scene. Again, building to the reveal here where we see like the crash limo and everything. We kind of see where this is going. And Lucius is saying, I believe in what Bruce is doing, but he's going to need help. Again, this Lucius being the pragmatist who's, again, still serving the cause here, but he's kind of pointing out, I believe in what he's doing, but he's going to need help. Has he thought about looping Gordon in? It's all about, like, telling Gordon. And Alfred's response is, well, that's his decision. That's at his discretion. And our role, as always, is to serve Lucius. And like, oh man, that's it's a good line. Again, it's out again. Alfred being a man of duty as well. The fact that Alfred, he's accepted. Yep, I'm helping him on this crazy journey. I mean, he can take care of himself. He's capable. My role is just to make sure he doesn't get killed and help him in any way I can. I'm serving the Wayne family and serving what the new era of the mission is. It's great. And we, of course, we kind of seal the deal here with we reveal the first of many criminals being hung by being tied up, and we see Penguin and Riddler tied to a lamppost. It's like it's like let me out of here. It's like, oh yes, it's great. And they're in full costume. Kind of the freaks have entered Gotham, and now the Batman is kind of the answer to solving this new problem. It's great. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Barbara, let's see. So Barbara's. This is really nice. I love that we're in the Sirens Club. We've returned to the Sirens after 10 years. So I guess Barbara just still kind of owns the deeds of the club. Maybe she's closed it down. Maybe she's passed it on. Doesn't matter. Point. She's going back to the Sirens after almost being blown up. For good reason. And I love that little Barbara Gordon, little Batgirl, is asking these smart, very Batgirl. I like that we do get a little sliver of Batgirl here and there. I love that she's asking smart questions and she has really good aim. I like that we're kind of facilitating a little bit in there. She comes from good stock. I love it. And she's questioning your mother's actions right now. Like, why are we going back to the Sirens? Of course, she gets a gun. Like, what do you need a gun for? Essentially. Yeah. All right, so then we reveal the music comes on the club, and we reveal again Echo, probably the most Harley Quinn looking Echo.
Voice, by the way, Crimson and Clover. I forget the band, but the song is Crimson and Clover.
Right. And we see Echo looking the most proto Harley looking Echo that we've seen, practically Harley Quinn, practically.
Yeah.
And basically, we kind of answer again. I called something here with the Harley Quinn thing. It wasn't a major call, but they kind of imply it. So we reveal we reveal our proto Harley, and then we reveal from behind we reveal the Joker. And I guess again, what we kind of have in here, but I'll save that when we get to that scene. Point being, we reveal the Joker in kind of his full glory here, like in the purple suit and everything. He's got these yellow gloves. It's a good look on the Joker. I gotta be honest. I remember they're pulling this from a certain. It's like a certain Elseworld story. It's like I think it's like a Joker of the future, which explains like the loss of hair kind of comes from that too. By the way, so again here it's like via chemical burns. There was because of old age. So again here it's a little bit more logic applied. The point is Joker's here and he looks good, and we have Cameron Monaghan giving like a third haunting performance as the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And again, this is real it feels really Killing Joke-esque, especially again, it's kind of a mixture of Killing Joke, both Barbara Gordon moments here. We have Killing Joke, and we also have kind of the wife of Gordon moment from Sarah Essen, if you want to be all particular, from No Man's Land, where again our person is in grave jeopardy here with a child in play. So,
oh my God, are they just going to be bold and kill both of them?
Well, I doubt they're going to kill the child, but by the same time, they could have killed Barbara here if they really wanted to. They could have.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been a shocker.
So a Joker. The idea here, and I love this idea. So when we have like the whole so it's a surprise party, just like telling her I'm just throwing a surprise party here, and the idea is that the Joker, and correct me if you got a different read on this, is that the Joker has lost his identity, He's gone even crazier since the dip into the chemicals, and coming out of that comatose state at some point. He's been piecing together. He's been repiecing together elements. It's kind of a meta thing too. He's been piecing together the crazy show that was Gotham, like all the crazy twists and turns and loops, like the roller coaster ride that was Gotham. He's been repiecing that together while he was in his comatose state and coming out of it, and he's just kind of pacheting together this new identity, which essentially will be the Joker at some point. That will basically be kind of a fully fleshed out Joker as it develops even further.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's why he's saying, like, I remember you were different, and then again, so was I. And then again, but again, it's just the point is like he's a little off his game, but again, it's because he's piecing together things, and the main reason he's kind of lost parts of himself is because Bruce Wayne's been gone for 10 years. That's the main reason he's lost kind of his compass there. He knows that he cares about Bruce Wayne, but that's about it.
And I think it's kind of just like super creepy that almost in a Scott Snyder-y sort of way, of course, because I've got into to read most of the Scott Snyder Joker stuff at this point. It's super creepy to me that he takes Bruce Wayne leaving Gotham more personally than almost anyone.
He does. He absolutely, and it's oh god, it's adding more of like this. It's a gleeful reunion in Dark Knight Returns. What we're doing here is again, it's the hurt betrayal. So again, it is kind of endgame esque if you want to look at that. Not that endgame, folks. The Batman. It's very.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Anyways.
So we have this bit where like little Barbara Gordon here, she just like chucks like a candle at, just chucks a
Yeah,
candle.
it's pretty bold here.
Again, she's a deadeye, man. Again, one of these days, that girl's gonna be throwing a batarang. One of these days.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So kind of saves her, tries to save her mother there, and then of course Joker shoots Barbara in the kneecap, which again I think is a little reference to the Killing Joke, and then a little bit of a no man's land there. Joker got shot in the kneecaps as revenge for paralyzing Barbara Gordon. So I think it's kind of a little tongue in cheek reference to that. Maybe it could just be a kneecap shot. I don't know. Anyway, so the Joker very creepily gets in her face and he basically kidnaps the child. He kidnaps her. She has your eyes for now. Creepy lines. And he just says, I have a message. I need you to deliver a message for me. Okay? You do that?
Okay. Can you do that? Can you do that for me? Okay. Okay.
And of course, give him the creepy laugh and everything. It's like, oh boy, again, he's very horrifying. This take on the Joker, really cool.
Yeah, we don't get to see him for very long, but he definitely like makes his presence when he is there.
Yeah, Nate. I remember Nate felt Joker was really underutilized here, and I mean, again, to an extent,
I mean, here's how I feel about that. I don't necessarily feel like we need to frame the whole episode around the Joker, because I feel like I feel like we need to get the idea of the Joker versus Batman out there, right? That's the only thing we really need to establish. And with that in mind, with this being a series finale, of course, all the characters need to get some sort of satisfying wrap up. So I feel like there's just enough Joker, because it's like there's just enough Joker in there to establish that this guy is going to be kind of like a thorn in Bruce's side moving forward, and he's going to be sort of like the almost like the supernatural force that just kind of keeps coming back.
Right, and I will echo this. Like the gripe that I do have, and the gripe that I do have with this finale is that again, it's fine what we have. It's just again, it does go by really briskly, and I feel like out of all the episodes,
I feel like they could have made it like an hour.
That's what I'm saying. I wish it was like a legit hour, not counting the commercials.
Right. Or like 90 minutes counting commercials, I guess.
Wish we could have done like an AMC thing where we either count the commercials or let it go past times to kind of fill out like an actual hour, like 50 minutes or something something like that. And that I feel would have solved the joke.
I'm in agreement with you there, Dragon. I think that only would have helped the episode.
Sure. Okay, so anyway, so let's see. So Jim, he arrives on the scene, and we reveal, he kidnapped Barbara, and then the message was go to where he was born again. Go to where he was born again, which means Ace Chemical. And says, promise me, Jim, promise me. He says, I'll get her back. I'll get her back. Mm-hmm. And then we're at Ace Chemical. And so, oh boy, we're back at Ace Chemical. Of course, last time we were Ace Chemical was a really good episode. So we're back there again, man. Ace Chemical, nothing but good things happen at Ace Chemical. Well,
well, I mean, it's like in a figurative way of looking at it.
quality things, but horrifying things all the same.
It's a very dicey way of saying it, Dragon. There's no easy way to say that.
Anyway, so
very compelling stuff happens at Ace Chemicals.
There you go. So we see, and this is and of course, what we're doing here, and the brilliant thing about all of this is that basically we're adding Joker into the climax of year one, which I think is a perfect idea. I love that so much. That again, it's a Gordon child being held in peril, but basically threatening to be dropped over something. And again, kind of Batman having to come into the scene to kind of save the day here. Again, it's a perfect, it's the year one situation, but with the Joker. That's really cool.
Sure.
So, so basically, he's dangling Barbara over a vat of chemicals, and Jim arrives on the scene. He says, I can still feel my flesh sizzle. I can still feel my flesh sizzle and melting away. Really creepy dialogue, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And, Jim's promising it's going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine. Of course, there's just kind of pointed out by Donovan. She's wearing purple, a little bit like Batgirl too. It's like all the little nuts. She's always been wearing purple, which has been a good touch, by the way. So he's Jim's saying it's going to be okay. Oh, things are far from fine. But what do I know? I've spent the last 10 years in the funny farm. And we have this "what do I call you" moment here, where he's asking. Sorry, let me visually come in. There we go. Sorry, let me adjust that. Yes, so of course we see we're at Ace Chemical right now, and right. So we have the name thing here, which is like, what do I? Jim's asking, what do I call you? And he says, how about Jack? No, Joseph. No, John. No, Jay. And of course, Jay. You and I are both thinking Harley Quinn the Joker.
Yeah.
But of course, he says like, no, I just, he's not sure. Like, I don't know. Again, it's kind of the multiple choice thing. The idea is he's still just kind of selling on the name and again the symbol, the moniker. But
the lawyers won't let me say the name that I actually want to say. So
I feel something new crawling out of the primordial ooze. Something. But yeah, seriously, it is ridiculous. We gotta acknowledge it because we never really acknowledged it on the show. I think we acknowledged it maybe.
I don't want to dwell on it, but yeah, it is ridiculous that we can't actually say the name Joker on the show.
All I'm going to say, again, without getting into the whole thing, is the fact that, again, apparently, because I heard rumors of this in season 4, I think the first half of season 4, I think, where I think Karen Monaghan showed a makeup test where they were like giving him purple hair. Like by season 5, they gave him dark green hair. That's the way they screwed around that. But the point is, he revealed that they were unable to say the Joker came from the top man. I believe the reason for this is because, it's not technically a Warner Brothers show. I think that's the reason why. I think it's because, again, it's on Fox. Of course, 60s Batman was under the Fox moniker, which is probably why. Again, they shopped it around. Fox paid the most money. But the point being, I'm convinced that's why we can't say Joker, and I think we can't say Batman either. I'm convinced.
Well, I believe that.
Given what happened. So that's the thing. So I think it's ridiculous they can't say names, but I will say this, though. I think they did the best they could with it, so it's not a problem, but it is noticeable when you really think about it in the last episode. Okay.
Well, I mean, like I said, they turned the name thing into pretty much a gag, which I think is fine. It's a
so they did absolutely the best they could with it. And it doesn't hurt the thing at all. Just like when you think about it, man, we've been teasing up Joker all the time. We can't. They couldn't let him say it at the very end. That's kind of silly, but anyway. Like through the series, I get, but it's like really the very end we can't get out. Anyways, the point being, we have this,
right.
Says, how long are you pretending to be brain dead? How long are you pretending?
That's a joke. I know you're not pretending.
A good line. So Jim's asking why, and then of course we have the glorious bit here where it says, because I was waiting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he left us, and he's just so hurt by that Snyder Joker we were talking about too. It's that Snyder just very betrayed by
plain scorned lover in this scene, just like the best of Snyder Joker.
And again, we saw all this wonderfully set up again per that Snyder Joker in the earlier bit in the season with the other Ace Chemical episode. The fact that we were bound together, he and I, and he's the one thing I know for certain, which again is why he's going to be fixated. Again, the idea is like. Given this whole Bruce Wayne angle, we may see very little to no Bruce Wayne in this world, and I'm sure that's going to ring some bells. But again, for the most part, he's going to feel that sense of familiarity. He's going to be able, whether he knows it 100% or not, he's going to be able to tell that this is Batman, that Batman is Bruce Wayne on some level. He's going to be able to feel it, and so he just abandoned us. And the one thing, it's one thing, you know what it's like to have the one thing you love ripped away. Here's a little something like this, and he's dropping. Again, that's a great moment though. He just says that, he just drops her and tries to drop her in the bat. But again, just like year one, again the kid being dropped off the edge of the bridge. Jim just goes for the leap, and he holds her by the rope, and again very helpless right now. And then again like that, again he's being threatened by a knife in year one. Joker says, "Well, tonight's been a disappointment, but I might as well get some fillet of commissioner."
Oh, God.
As he stabs him in the side. And again, things are looking like curtains for Gordon before he goes for the next stab. Batarang knocks the knife out of his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go. The birth of, again, Batman's mission here. Again, the mission to save, again, it's the mission here, man. Saving children. And again, like the birth of it here. The Joker's rebirth and Batman's mission all under here again. Born Ace Chemical, very appropriately. In this moment where Joker sees him, he just holds him like, "Who are you? Show yourself!" And he sees him, and he falls in love again, either with the familiar, whether he knows it or not. Well, again, it could be the Snyder thing where it's a question of does he know, does he not, and then of course ultimately we reveal that he does absolutely know, and either he knows and he doesn't care about the one side or the other. But the point being, he knows on some level.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the thing. It's like I feel like he doesn't care about the one side. He cares about like having this antagonistic force that he can play with. You know what I mean? And in this case, he might know that it's Bruce Wayne, but the Bruce Wayne part of the equation is just kind of like dropped off. He no longer cares about Bruce Wayne at this point.
Like Jeremiah cared about what Bruce, again, hence the whole working with Ra's al Ghul to create No Man's Land thing. He cared about the Dark Knight. He cared about him becoming his full potential, his full force. Hence him, like, becoming the Joker and the vat of chemicals and everything. He's always cared about the becoming, and now they both made it. So he's kind of in awe of it being Bruce, but again, more so it being the becoming. Like, we've both reached our destiny. It's all been about the destiny track, and they both reached it. And it's a question of, like, is he just recognizing Bruce, or is he recognizing the destiny of, like, look at what you've become, Bruce. You become your full potential. So kind of moved by that. It's great. Like the whole that moment, just the recognition. And of course, Batarang is thrown through the hand, which is great. It's a Dark Knight Returns reference. The whole like Batarang through the eye. It's kind of like a Batarang through the body here and in the hand. Again, we can't say that
when it strikes the hand and it pierces the hand, he just gets the hysterical laugh, that classic Joker laugh. Like, oh man, this is great. Like, this is really just a rush. Like, he really fooled me, man. You know what I mean? It's like he's so exhilarated by the fact that he's got a foe to fight.
I guess the joke's on me. So he then, of course, gets a Batarang to the head again. Classic Dark Knight Returns. There gets a Batarang to the head. He's taken care of. But again, Jim saves his daughter, and of course, he saw again the Batman has disappeared, and again, the year one moment right there, just very, it's beautiful. It's just a very optimistic moment where again the bad guy's been defeated. Some people might say a little too quickly, but again, I'm blowing down the runtime more so than anything. But the point being, Batman, he's vanished. He saved Gordon, and Gordon's really just taking it in. But again, it's like Gordon sees Batman 3 times in this episode. Each time there's a really important moment attached to it. We have the first bad exit. We have the saving of Gordon's child. Again, the base of the Batman mission being to put into play the ultimate show of trust that he can trust this mystery force. Mm-hmm. And of course, the third one has probably the biggest impact of all here, where we're on the rooftop now. And you know me, Tiki. I was losing my mind. Like, no, it's the rooftop. We're doing the rooftop.
Yep.
Doing the rooftop, and we have Jim and Bullock kind of walking on the rooftop here, and Bullock's asking the follow-up questions. We're saying, so he saves you and he disappears, and he's on our side? I think so. And Gordon he says, "Oh, you pulled this thing out of mothballs. The old searchlight from season 4, and season 5 primarily. The kind of the there will be light message. The idea of light is kind of hope for the GCP.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Very clever the way they wrote that in.
And of course, they always connected the Bruce and Jim Gordon's dynamic, and by proxy, it was hope in Gotham's most hopeless times. Again, the searchlight had a great significance to it, and I had to dig it out for old time's sake. And I even invited Bruce. And of course, Alfred arrives and he informs them that I'm regret to inform you that Master Bruce is busy. And of course, I love this, Tegan. This is all we need. I love this. These 2 moments speak volumes where, again, Jim Gordon calls out, Bruce has been awfully busy these days. Because, again, the fact that, Gordon, again, he can put the pieces together. I think it's going to be an easy mystery from the solve. But, I think he can put the pieces together. Bruce has been awfully busy. So I thought you were retiring. I may stick around a while longer. Again, Batman had that moment where he saved his daughter and has inspired Gordon to stay on. That he's going to be needed. The two of them are going to need to work together. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, Selina and Bruce, we have closure to this story here, where Selina Selina and Batman from behind.
On this one, Dragon.
So we have Selina with Batman behind her, and basically she's, and again, by the conversations from behind, she can feel that his presence there, but she's not turning around one bit. And it's just, yeah, she's saying, you were all I had. I didn't want your protection. I wanted you. And Bruce's response, again, with the Batman voice, but still his response. It's years later, so he's kind of grown up. So, again, as far as she knows it, it's just, again, it's just Bruce. There was no other way, Selena. I had to go.
Mm.
And again, yeah, it's a really nice moment. They're reaching a place of, they're kind of reaching they're in a good place with each other.
Yeah.
And we have this, and then basically we have this great return the diamond. Then he leaves. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Before that, oh god, I'm sorry, I'm missing the best parts. What about now? What are you planning on doing now? It says, I don't know, but I'll never leave Gotham again. Like that, man. That line. That yes, again, I love the fact that Bruce left Gotham for 10 years. Again, looking into the Batman mythos, where again he left 10 years, and I'm sure that it basically the benefit of the series now, Tiki, is that we've seen the impact that Gotham has made on a young Bruce Wayne. A period of time that we rarely do a lot with in the comics. We do stuff with it, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying we kind of fleshed it out for 5 seasons. We've seen what Gotham means to Bruce Wayne, the impact that it's made on, like why he needs to become Batman. We've seen all that. So the idea is like leaving for 10 years must have taken a toll on one, the physical toll of becoming Batman, the other toll, like being away from his city that long. He's made the vow to her, I'm never going to leave Gotham again. Like, yes, okay, that's him committing fully to the mission that Gotham is his priority. Then tells her to return the diamond. Her response, like hell, man. It's the fact that like the idea is like so when Catwoman's doing a robbery, she's hoping to summon Bruce Wayne, and she's hoping to kind of get Batman's attention essentially. So that's why she'll keep stealing and never return those diamonds. It's kind of like the chase begins between the two of them to keep Bruce in her life. That's nice. All right. Let's see. So then, let's see. Oh yeah, so Penguin and Riddler. So Penguin's ranting in the convoy back to the prison. So Penguin's just ranting about Gotham is mine. Did you hear what he said? Gotham is mine. I didn't spend 10 years in Blackgate to give my city to a man dressed as a bat. I know, Oswald. I was there. I saw it. And then, of course, Riddler he picks the lock, and the two of them escape. So against the idea like these two guys can escape prison, being arrested means nothing to the super criminals of Gotham. They're going to get out. It's revolving.
Well, exactly. What I like about this whole idea is it's kind of like in a nutshell, it's kind of like the perpetual struggle with Bruce Wayne and Batman and dealing with these criminals. It's like he locks them up. Eventually, the criminals are going to escape. It's like an inevitability, and I'm glad that they kind of addressed that point here.
Absolutely. And then we have this really great moment where they're on the street and they're planning like we need to find out who he is and basically team up against them. We need to do that. We need to team up against them. So again, it's going to be again like the rogues gallery is forming. That's the idea. Like the Batman rogue, the Gotham rogues are forming, and then we see Batman jump on rooftops, like jump from rooftop to rooftop, which is very intimidating, especially given like what he just did from a shorter distance. And of course, Penguin has the perfect line again: "The superstitious and cowardly, man. The superstitious and cowardly." Batman striking fear into the hearts of criminals. It says tomorrow, and they leave. And I love that. That's what we're doing with Gotham right now. The fact that we've gotten to a point where, again, this is the thing, we have an answer to it all, man. We have an answer to the fact like we had the villains, but we saw the GCPD getting in over their heads dealing with the super criminals, but now we have an answer to easily stop the super criminals, and that's Batman. We're there now. So then we have, oh god, okay, for me, I feel a little emotional here, folks. We're at the end. Okay, so.
You can do it, Dragon. You can do it.
Alfred saying,
"Oh man."
He calls back the big cell, the big moment from the pilot here. Says, "Yet in the darkness, there."
I love that. I love that. It's a perfect bookend, Dragon. It's a perfect bookend. They're coming full circle with it, and it's great.
Yet in the darkness, there will be light. That's what you promised him. You saved him. You gave him hope. It's just like that. Oh, again, that again. That's bringing it all back to again the idea, the sweet idea to my Batman and Jim Gordon dynamic love and heart, man. It's just the fact that again that again the Jim Gordon was the cop on the scene. He gave Bruce that comfort again. That's to put the coat around the boy's shoulders, show him the world. Show him the world had an end. It's that moment we have through the Gotham purview with that great line. There will be light. We're doing it, and of course the light being the bat signal. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
And Alfred is giving it that regalness, that perspective, like what exactly Gordon said. Again, the ultimate thank you by not Bruce but by another person. Right. Then of course we have Bullock saying, "Holy Mother!" as he looks up. He looks up, and we kind of have this perfect shot here, which we've used for the root image for obvious reasons, because the perfect shot right here. Big moment where they're looking up, and there's and again Jim Gordon, the look on Jim Gordon's face because he's putting it together, and there's a question of like, does he know who's being? How far can Gordon see? Does he need those glasses to see that far? After all, does he? Like, will he need those glasses to see that far and just see like who's under that mask and put two and two together, or like again, is it just like it's the guy who saved my daughter? That's the question that we reveal.
I mean, Dragon, I very much think that Gordon has put the pieces together. Gordon's not stupid, but this is very much comic book logic here, where Gordon is playing dumb. Gordon is,
Mm-hmm.
it's strength through denial. You know what I mean?
Plausible deniability. Again, it's the thing I've always
Exactly,
loved. That Gordon
exactly.
could. It's not. It's
I
not
am like
does.
100% on board with that.
It's like not. It's not. Does Gordon know he's Batman or not? It's like the fact that Gordon could find out, but he has an idea. Like again, like you go back in year one. Year one, Bruce Wayne was the first suspect in
Right.
Batman. Like after Harvey Dent, I think Bruce Wayne was like one of the first suspects, and he did go to Bruce Wayne and interviewed him. But again, it's the fact that there's that plausible deniability. Like the first person he's probably going to be asking about is Bruce Wayne, but again, he doesn't want to. So he looks up and we reveal they saved it for the very end. So we have Alfred. Sorry, we have sorry. So they're all looking up and Gordon and all there. We have with the most optimistic we've ever seen Gordon. One of the most optimistic moments we've seen in Gordon in the series here. They're saying, "Who is he?" Like what Bullock saying, "Who is he?" And Gordon has the perfect line, "A friend."
A friend.
And we go up and we see not this
Yeah, we see that, Dragon. Ah, nice, nice.
we see this. Then thanks to Nate Productions on this image yet again. We basically see this, and this is kind of an artistic rendering of the image, but just to make sure we just kind of see it for posterity's sake, because we waited 5 seasons for this, just to kind of show it on air here.
Ba, ba,
Yes.
ba.
So what's cool about this, by the way, is that to my knowledge, so they have a double. Now I've seen some like kind of selfies, some set photos where he had like the actress who played Catwoman. She took some pictures the grown ups, the 10 years later, Selena. She took some pictures in her costume with Batman in his costume. You get a better look at him, and that's the stunt double. So here's the thing: so what you're seeing here, to my knowledge, is actually David Mazouz's suit,
Okay.
which is really cool because you kind of see in the mouthpiece here. This like that is that looks very consistent with David Mazouz, and I've seen with the stunt guy who they shot all the other scenes with, and kind of like from behind and like behind Selena out of focus, all those scenes. The guy's really tall, by the way. The actual stunt double is super tall, by the way. It's really cool looking. But that's the thing though, because they show him like next to like one of the showrunners, like Bruner Hellner or something. It looks just super tall, and plus he has the bat ears, which makes him look even taller. Point being, that guy had a really different looking chin. So I'm like 90% certain this is David Mazouz. Like the last image of the show is David Mazouz in the suit, and it's
That's good. That's good, man. I appreciate
what do
that.
you think of the suit, man? I'm dying to get your thoughts on this. What do you think of it?
Uh, I mean, it looks fine. I'm not like completely blown away by it, Dragon. Honestly, like it's like I don't know. I don't dislike it. I'm just not like, oh my. Here's the thing, Dragon. I'm not one of those people that like geeks out over suits. Like you should know this about me. Like I'm not like to me a suit's just a suit. It looks fine. It looks like Batman. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well,
I don't have a hot take for it.
what I'm saying is I kind of grew to love it on a rewatch. That's kind of what I wanted to get at there, because at first glimpse it was like it was good enough, and then it's like, okay, well he's in the suit, and again I like it's kind of the body armor look they were kind of skewing towards, but on a rewatch though I do like that. It's again the mask looks a lot better on a rewatch, especially when you kind of see that okay it's Mizzou's in the suit. I think the cape looks great, but again it's kind of how he worked in the symbol on top of the arm. Basically, I think it grows on you. That's what I just really wanted to focus on. Let me see if the let me see if the audience kind of had any specific thoughts on it. All right, okay. So point being, that's the last shot of the show. We reveal him as Batman. We see like the Gotham logo, and behind the Gotham logo is the bat symbol, which is nice.
Nice, nice.
All right, so final thoughts, Tiki. What do you got?
All right. Yeah, well, this is definitely a show that, I'm proud that we had the dexterity and the commitment to recap every single episode of, because it's a wacky show, Dragon. It went in some wacky spots. It went in some wacky directions, and not every episode was perfect. Not every season had a storyline that flowed consistently from episode by any means. But at the end of the day, I feel like the show kind of delivered exactly what we wanted. It kind of gave us Dragon. My whole hook for this show was like, I want to see Batman villains developed in like a series long format. You know what I mean? Like, I do want to see like the Riddler go from this meek and meager lab worker at the GCPD to a supervillain. I want to see the Penguin go from, Vish Mooney's umbrella boy to the crime lord of Gotham that he's known as. And Dragon, I think in spades, especially for the Penguin and the Riddler, this show delivered that. Was it great to every single villain? God, no. Harvey Dent got absolutely fucking screwed in this show. A number of characters got absolutely screwed. It's like we heard about Firefly and Mr. Freeze having territories in no man's land, and that didn't come of anything. So it's not a show that you watch to pick every single detail apart. It's not a Vince Gilligan like Breaking Bad universe show by any means, but I feel like as a pulpy, serialized comic book show that it's very satisfying, Dragon. It's a satisfying road to go down, and of course it's got some pitfalls and pit bumps along the way. It's got a crazy arc for the Barbara character and your own personal feelings about her as you go along from season to season that I feel like is very memorable. And just overall, it's solid Batman material, man. I really don't think Bat fans really have anything to complain about, especially because of the Elseworld of it all.
Yeah, it's again, Gotham is a wild ride and a ride that I feel it gets. I think it progressively, looking at the series as a whole, I feel it got better as it went on. Like, if really look, it's kind of occurred to me that yeah, each season did get progressively better. I mean, season one and season two are a little bit like that one's a little bit more like it's kind of pros and cons on like which one's better in that regard. But you look at it, like season five has been the best season. Four is like is the the runner right after that, and of course three had Court of Owls, which was great. So again, just kind of progressively got better over time. I think it's indicative of them just kind of they really threw stuff at the wall the first season, saw what stuck, and in certain things, again, a lot of evolution, a lot of change, a lot of discovery, which kind of led to Barbara's wild arc and things. And certain things they kind of tried and they kind of realized they didn't have room for it, like Harvey Dent. That's unfortunate, just given what happened there. Like a lot of people loved again. I like myself. I love the first two Mister Freeze episodes, and nothing against Mister Freeze, but he just kind of he's kind of lingered after that
He
point.
very much fizzled out after the first couple
But
episodes.
yeah, those first two again, the two episode arc that he had was great. It was a great reinvention of him.
Yep.
But anyway, the point being, there's obviously some trial and error, but on the whole, it got more consistent, it got better, and again, the more Snyder like it got. Honestly, season three on was the most Snyder like it was really because you had a Court of Owls on where it's where again it dialed into the show I always wanted it to be, where it's like, okay, let's just kind of get into that. If it's not going to be the Gotham Central show, dude, kind of the show is going to reflect of like Gotham as an entity within itself, defining people, justify your existence. And again, in regards to this episode, and kind of as it says as a finale, uh, the again the mustache thing bugs me to no end, but this ending, albeit briefer than it probably should have been. Again, I could have gotten 50 minutes, sure, like or a full hour, but could have let things breathe a little bit more. I think that might kind of got a little bit of better response from people. But yeah, on the whole, I think people are liking this. But some people are loving it, some people are liking it. At the very least, I'm not hearing a lot of I'm not hearing disappointment of the finale from this one. I think people are appreciating the fact that this is the epilogue. It's the dot 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 of it's like the show we never we tease up Batman very well. This is you know, and is the show, and it's just it's the show that many wanted, that I think many people wanted in regard to again that Gotham Central premise is kind of what we've seen here with the little to unseen Batman. I respect them saving all of this. For the end with a story purpose for it all, like the fact that we told our story and then we get kind of the reward at the end of the rainbow. And there are aspiring ideas like Batman saving Jim Gordon, inspiring him to stay on for for the future of Gotham. That's great. I see I see Batman terrifying the superstitious and cowardly within the Riddler and the Penguin. That's great. Symbolically, we got to we got to answer what it's all for, and how we end the series to how to end the series where Gotham's going to be in a good place, where the seasons kind of predicted things are going, we're like in a show where things will get worse in Gotham. Batman ultimately is going. He's again we basically this whole episode's about how Batman is the answer. He's the light shrouded in darkness. That's who he is. Like, again, he's kind of the light, and we epitomize this by the bat signal essentially. We know Batman. We don't need to see him, but that light that we talked up since the start, and we see at the very end, illuminates the truth that we've always known and we've always felt. It gives you kind of a special sense of accomplishment. It's a good feeling. I mean, this show captures the legacy of. I mean, this episode captures the legacy of Gotham and the point of the show very well. I think it's an excellent. I think it's very serviceable and for the most part excellent finale. That captures that Gotham. It wasn't perfect, but my God, it was fun, man. It was fun and
I think that is going to be the legacy of the show. Is that it's not perfect storytelling by any means, but it's very pulpy, very fun, very much kind of a crazy Elseworlds take on the character. And I feel like this is a show that's going to age well with fans, Dragon. I really do.
I mean, it doesn't. Again, it kicks the crap out of Smallville comparatively in regards to we didn't drag it out. It has an ending. It has it grows. I mean, are there
at the very least each season has a solid arc, and each season feels like it ties into each other.
Yeah, we're not beating a dead horse with it. And the fact of the matter is that it's it's a show that again, yes, there are some unresolved things. Sure, again, there's some hanging fruits, but again, it's isn't it better just kind of again it leaves you wanting more versus just and leaving you just waiting to get to the last 2-3 minutes of the whole show. Don't get me wrong, you and I I love the last last couple minutes of the show because it gets the very ending, which gets us the rooftop scene, which I've been wanting since season 1 technically. But it's the fact that, again, you enjoyed the ride getting there versus just waiting, checking your watch, okay, so Clark's fighting the fake dark side. So we're calling him the Blur. He forgot how to fly apparently. He learned how to fly again, and Luthor gets amnesia. We do all this stuff again. See, every show again, comic shows can be ridiculous. At least Gotham owned the ridiculousness. Again, it was 60s Batman meets Batman Returns.
Batman meets Batman Returns, and it just owned that, and it wore it on its sleeve every episode.
Oh yeah, and it's again, it's I'm gonna quote something here. I'm gonna quote something from the future here, but you don't again, it's gonna be a big tease because we've hit another Batman milestone. So I'm gonna tease this. Okay. Don't cry because it's over. Laugh because it happened, or smile because it happened.
Ooh, cryptic, Dragon, cryptic.
Anyway, so I guess unless you have anything else, Steve, any last. I'll thank the people who joined us here. We got Ace here says he liked the Batsuit earlier on, so we can all that Winter Ives, now Winter Ace, Donovan Martin, and Nate Productions, Mucho thanks to Nate Productions for all the artwork he provided for us this last season. He's always welcome here if he wants some artists. They're going to drop by. A lot of thanks to Nate Productions, and again, all you guys who tuned in and gave a crap about what we had to say. We appreciate you and we love you. You're always welcome in our book, folks. So thanks again, and we'll see you whenever the next venture is. Again, one of these days, we might come back just kind of talk about some highlight reels on Gotham, some moments, some top 10 lists. We'll probably be talking about Gotham at some point or other. I might do I don't know. The future is bright and shining, and there's a dot at the end of the beginning for a reason, folks. You can always come back.
You're damn straight.
All right, so I guess for the last time for a while, and for a long while.
Yep.
I guess I'll say, I'm gonna quote a great man here. Remember, kids, no matter how dark and scary the world might seem right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again.
He's a friend.
Jim, now that the show's over, does this mean we don't get paid lunch?